500 years ago, our girl wasn't a queen. She was a calamity. Standing at the peak of the military, this warrior sliced through trained soldiers like they were wet tissue paper. But the reward wasn't glory. It was betrayal. Framed by the very nobles she protected, the general was forced to drink poison. But as death approached, there were no prayers, only a vow to never go out like a punk again. Then, her eyes snap open. Not in heaven, but trapped inside a sealed metal barrel in a dirty warehouse. Thinking it's hell, the truth is far stranger. The greatest swordswoman in history has reincarnated into the body of a bullied teenager in the year 2024. The bullies thought they stuffed a weakling into that barrel, but they just woke up a monster. School is back in session, and the lesson is pain. This is High School Queen. Warning: this video contains scenes of violence, bullying, abuse, and enough red flags to build a parachute. Viewer discretion is advised. 500 years ago in the land of Hanyang, our girl is busy slicing through trained soldiers like they are made of wet tissue paper. While everyone else sees a chaotic battlefield, she is just annoyed. She firmly believes she was born in the wrong era because, apparently, being a delicate flower was not written in her stars. She rose to the top of the military ranks through sheer talent, becoming unmatched in swordsmanship and basically embarrassing every man within a 50-mile radius. She is in the middle of beating her own subordinates into the ground when her father, the commander of the Central Army, interrupts the fun. He is not impressed by her ability to destroy his troops. Our girl, desperate to prove herself, begs him to let her go to war in place of her sick brother. She is ready to chop down barbarians and bring glory to the family. But her father looks at her with that disappointing parent stare and reminds her that she is destined to become the queen, not a general. He prays to the heavens, asking why they gave his daughter the gift of violence instead of his son. Eventually, he caves, allowing her to go, but only on the condition that she returns absolutely unscathed. We flash forward to the throne room, where the nobles are having a collective panic attack. They are begging the emperor not to marry our girl. They are terrified that the queen consort might snap one day and use her sword skills to accidentally decapitate the emperor during a disagreement. Honestly, valid concern. But the emperor does not care about their whining. She is the hero who saved the nation, after all. Our girl listens from the hallway, absolutely miserable. She has endured broken bones and the horrors of war, but wearing a heavy wig and sitting still is apparently where she draws the line. She realizes that no matter how hard she struggles, she cannot escape this suffocating destiny. She bows before the emperor, who makes her promise one thing: that she will never wield a sword again. She agrees, crying her eyes out as she remembers her childhood days of hunting wild boars and drinking rice wine with her friends. But happiness is short-lived in the palace. One night, she is accused of assassinating the king. She is dragged away, screaming that she is innocent, but the plot armor does not save her this time. The nobles are thrilled to finally get rid of the scary lady, who behaves like a man. They force poison down her throat. As she lies dying, she does not pray for forgiveness. Instead, she is furious. She sacrificed her life for the nation, and this is the thanks she gets? She vows that if there is a next life, she will not go out like a punk. She wants to live freely and actually use her talents. Then, darkness. The scene shifts to a group of high school delinquents chatting in a warehouse. One of them asks if the video they took will go viral. They even manage to capture Daejin wetting herself. These absolute winners of society are debating whether she is dead or just sleeping. The light-haired boy, Yoojun, jokes that he might get intimate with the body if they leave him alone. Chaewon announces that their delivery arrived, while Songa is smoking and not bothered. The delivery lady walks in, confused, asking for payment for the food. The bullies flash wicked smiles because this was the plan all along. They tell her they did not order any food, but suggest she call the number on the receipt to find the customer. As they walk away laughing, they mock the delivery woman, joking about how she probably cannot hear them anyway since she has hearing issues. They know exactly who she is. She is Daejin's mother. The poor woman, trembling, dials the number. Suddenly, a phone starts ringing, but it is not in anyone's pocket. The sound is echoing from inside one of the sealed metal barrels in the corner of the warehouse. Realization hits the mother like a truck. She frantically runs to the barrel, tearing the lid open, and finds her daughter stuffed inside like cargo, beaten, unconscious, and smelling terrible. She screams for Daejin to open her eyes, sobbing uncontrollably. That is when our historical queen snaps her eyes open. She is confused. She thinks the heavens gave her a second chance at life, but she is wondering why everything hurts and why she is trapped in a tin can. She looks at the weeping woman and then at her own trembling hands. She realizes she has been reborn, but certainly not in the glorious way she expected. The former greatest swordswoman in the nation is now a high school outcast in the year 2024, and she is absolutely livid. This isn't the first time our girl has danced with the Grim Reaper. Between her mother dying to protect her from assassins and the countless political factions trying to dethrone her with false accusations, she has survived enough trauma to fill a history textbook. She wonders if she has finally used up all her extra lives, feeling her senses go numb as the darkness consumes her. But instead of the pearly gates, she wakes up in a hospital bed where a doctor is casually listing off her injuries like a grocery list: fractures, organ damage, the works. Our queen opens her eyes and immediately assumes this is the afterlife. When a nurse politely tries to check on her, our girl goes full feral. She grabs the poor woman by the collar, demanding to know who dragged her to this place. She pauses, horrified to hear that her commanding voice now sounds like a squeaky teenager's. Ignoring the confused nurse, she demands to be taken back to the palace and starts screaming for her court Lady Kim. She stumbles over to the window and freezes. Instead of traditional architecture, she is staring at a glittering skyline that looks more like downtown Manhattan than Hanyang. She panics, wondering if her enemies hired a shaman to curse her and banish her to some hellscape. Before she can spiral further, the crying mother from the warehouse rushes in, begging Dae-jin to get back in bed. Our girl finally pieces it together. This is not a dream. She has been reborn into the body of a girl who was beaten to death. She sits there wondering what kind of treason this teenager committed to deserve such a punishment. 3 days pass and she deduces that she is in a new Joseon, 500 years in the future. But just because the era has changed doesn't mean her attitude has. She screams at the other patients in the room for the audacity of sharing a table with her, warning them to stop being so insolent. The other patients stare at her like she has grown a second head, whispering that the brain damage must have caused amnesia. The mother, trying to diffuse the tension, brings out the ultimate peace offering, fried chicken. Our queen turns her nose up at it, refusing to eat food offered by strangers without a royal food taster present. She demands a silver spoon to check for poison. The mom, confused but patient, takes a bite herself to prove it is safe. Our girl skeptically takes a piece, and the moment it hits her tongue, her entire world changes. It is crispy, tender, and absolutely exquisite. She declares that the world has truly advanced if such delicacies are daily food. While the other patients watch in amusement, she tries to play it cool, claiming that back in her palace, she was known as a benevolent queen who wasn't picky about meals. Before realizing the clapping wasn't for her, but rather towards the magic talking box. Her culture shock continues when she sees what is on the TV screen. She watches a woman winning a gold medal in martial arts and is absolutely floored. She is amazed that in this era, women are allowed to be warriors. Later, she discovers the magic of modern plumbing, marveling at the endless hot water in the shower. She is also thrilled to be wearing comfortable trousers instead of heavy skirts, stretching her legs with a freedom she never had before. But the fun stops when she finds a notebook with a familiar emblem from her dynasty. It is Daejin's diary. She reads the heartbreaking entries where the previous owner wondered where it all went wrong. Was it refusing to lend a PE uniform? Or being falsely accused of stealing money? We get a vision of the past, watching the helpless Dae-jin begging for her life while that psychopath Sangha laughed and swung a baseball bat at her. The diary reveals that Dae-jin believed she was a mistake from birth, echoing the insults screamed by her bullies. Our historical queen steps onto the school grounds, beaming like a tourist at a theme park. She finds the concept of a school fascinating, amazed that women are actually allowed to study. However, her excitement quickly turns to scandalized horror when she realizes men and women are not keeping their distance. She watches a high school couple holding hands and nearly faints from the indecency of it all. And do not even get her started on the uniforms. She stares at the short skirts and decides she must turn a blind eye to this shameless exposure of skin if she wants to survive in this wild new era. Inside the classroom, the vibes are decidedly less wholesome. The blue-haired bully and her sidekick Yoo-jun are complaining about being stuck at school during lunch. The teacher breezily announces that Dae-jin hurt her head and has memory issues, so everyone should be nice to her, which is basically asking sharks to be nice to a wounded seal. Our girl takes a seat next to a student with pink hair. While the pink girl looks nervous, our queen has only one thing on her mind: the promise of school lunch. She blushes, hoping they serve that divine creation known as fried chicken. Priorities, people. Trying to be proactive, our girl asks her seatmate for a favor, to guide her around the school for a few days. The pink girl immediately tries to flee, nervously saying Dae-jin cannot repay her. Our girl scratches her neck, realizing she probably wasn't besties with this girl in her past life. Suddenly, the blue-haired bully appears and slaps the pink girl right in the back of the head. Apparently, the class rules state that talking to Dae-jin earns you a penalty, and now the price has gone up to 2 hits. As the bully raises her hand for the second slap, our queen's reflexes kick in. She catches the bully's arm mid-swing, demanding to know why she is striking a fellow girl. The bully is not intimidated. She is amused. She grabs our girl by the hair, sneering that Dae-jin is lucky. She accuses our girl of lying about her mother being deaf because the mom found them in the warehouse so quickly. She kicks our girl in the stomach, laughing about how hilarious it was to see the mother frantically searching through the trash. To top it off, she threatens to find the mom's restaurant and leave nasty reviews. That does it. Our girl looks at the bully and realizes this is the monster who made the original Dae-jin feel like a mistake from birth. The bully, feeling chatty, uncaps a red pen and tries to stab our girl in the chest, promising to make her suffer. But this time the victim grabs the weapon. Our girl catches the pen, her hand trembling not from fear, but from rage. She rolls up her sleeve, revealing an arm covered in circular scars from previous pen stabbings. To our historical queen, these look like the brands used on runaway servants. She calmly tells the bully that while the world has changed, she will not tolerate insults toward parents. She marks one of the scars with the pen and declares she will return just one hit today, but warns the bully not to forget how many are left. Then, she grabs the bully and hurls her into the lockers. Yoojun, the male bully, tries to step in, calling her crazy, but our girl turns her death stare on him. She informs him that she has absolutely no issue striking a man, and he wisely backs off in terror. Our girl spins the pen and points it directly at the blue-haired bully's forehead. She delivers a terrifying ultimatum. Look at her wrong and she will gouge out her eyes, sniff around, and she will make her smell blood forever. Speak ill of anyone and she will tear her mouth open. As she speaks, she draws a thick red line down the bully's face, from forehead to chin, reminding her to treat the body her parents gave her with respect. The classroom falls silent. The queen is back. Daejin's mom is driving her to school on a scooter, desperately trying to convince her daughter to transfer or just take the GEDs to avoid getting beaten up again. But our girl hops off, flashing a shiny smile, and hands back the helmet, reassuring her mother not to worry because, in her eyes, these high school terrors are merely children. Back in the classroom, the atmosphere is tense. Our queen looks down at the terrified Chaiwon, the blue-haired bully she just humbled, and warns her that she is more unruly than anticipated and should watch her behavior if she values her life. Yoojun, the male bully, is watching from the back, absolutely shook that she knocked Chaiwon down with a single hit. Daejin casually hands the red pen back to the trembling boy with glasses, telling him she is done using it. As she heads for the door, she glances back at the pink-haired girl, her forced tour guide, and demands she follow her. The rest of the class is murmuring, filming with their phones, and expecting Daejin to leave early out of embarrassment, completely misreading the situation. Out in the courtyard, Daejin is just having a lovely time stretching her muscles, finding it quite refreshing. She turns to the pink-haired girl and gives her some solid, albeit violent, life advice. Next time, do not be afraid. Just strike their philtrum to overthrow them. The poor girl is trembling, crying that she is totally screwed and now on the hit list because of Daejin. She asks if Daejin is doing this on purpose as revenge because she used to ignore Daejin getting bullied, admitting she was too scared to help because cowards can't do anything. Just then, a stray soccer ball comes flying toward the pink-haired girl's head. Without breaking a sweat, Daejin sprints over, stops the ball, and kicks it so hard it flies into the sky like a rocket. The boys playing soccer stare in disbelief, while the pink-haired girl looks at Daejin with sparkling eyes, blushing in pure admiration. We have officially entered the fangirl era. Daejin chides the boys for being careless and runs off, thinking she might teach the girl martial arts later. Meanwhile, the villains are regrouping. Yoojun is laughing his head off because Chaewon's face is a wreck, covered in red marker scribbles that look like bad makeup. Chaiwon is furious, screaming at him to stop laughing, but Sunga, the ringleader, steps in with her cigarette and tells them both to shut up. Chaiwon demands to know the plan, blaming Sunga for making her trash the class servant. Sunga, cold as ice, slaps Chaiwon across the face. Sunga tells her that losing to a loser is embarrassing and that if it were her, she would be too ashamed to come to school. She drops her cigarette and crushes it under her foot, asking what you do when a worm turns. You simply crush it. She orders Chaiwon to go home because she is an embarrassment. Left alone and seething, Chaiwon makes a call to someone named Suji, asking for a favor. In the canteen, our queen is finally happy, thinking it is time for lunch. She asks the lunch lady for the chicken coated in flour, only to be devastated by the news that fried chicken is on next week's menu. She stares at the menu board in confusion, mourning the loss of the exquisite flavor she was craving. As she contemplates eating a Pikachu-shaped food item that looks barely edible, a sandwich comes flying through the air and hits her tray. A massive girl, laughing with her friends, asks, "What's up, weirdo?" This new challenger is introduced as Eugene Hai's Red Buffalo. She recognizes Daejin as the girl she beat up last time for buying the wrong bread and mocks her, asking if she is enjoying her lunch. It seems the cafeteria discipline needs some straightening out. The Red Buffalo, Suji, is flanked by two minions who look like they auditioned for generic high school bully number 2 and number 3 and got the part. The blonde one confirms the rumor that Daejin went full Josian mode earlier, while the hoodie-wearing lackey mentions that Chaiwon got her butt kicked. Suji, not one for subtle entrances, slams her hands on Daejin's table and asks if she is enjoying the lunch, calling her Miss Old-Timer. Our queen stares at her, exhausted. She just finished one fight, and now she has another challenger? She wonders what sort of violent life this body has been living. Suji demands an answer, asking if Daejin misses her fancy palace meals. But Daejin stays silent for a very valid reason. She hasn't even taken a bite yet. In fact, she is having a full-blown internal crisis because Josian royalty eats 5 meals a day, and she has had 0. No breakfast, no early snack, no lunch. She is officially hangry. Suji decides to season the food herself. She says she forgot to add MSG, claiming food tastes better with it, and then proceeds to huck a loogie right onto Daejin's tray. It is disgusting, and her minions cheer like she just cured a disease, calling it savage. Suji licks her lips, asking if it makes Daejin's mouth water, which is arguably the grossest sentence ever spoken. But Daejin is completely ignoring her. She is doing mental math. Lunch ends at 1 p.m. It is currently 12:40 p.m. That leaves 20 minutes to find a new meal and consume it. She realizes that if she engages in another duel now, she will starve until 4 p.m., and she decides the school schedule is a violation of human rights. Suji, annoyed that her spit take didn't get a reaction, grinds her teeth and asks if this is a joke. Daejin is just trying to calculate the quickest way to end this so she can eat. Suji swings at her, but our girl dodges effortlessly. Suji tries again, but Daejin blocks the punch with the casual energy of swatting a fly. Suji is shocked by the strength, but Daejin has a theory. She originally thought this body was frail, but now she realizes there must be a parasite leeching off the nutrients, or maybe she just discovered what muscles are. Daejin checks the time again. 3 minutes wasted. She tells Suji to consider this her lucky day and walk away. Suji, not great at taking advice, grabs Daejin's shoulder. Daejin sighs. She warns Suji to let go or she will dislocate her arm. Suji asks, dislocate what? Just as Daejin twists her arm behind her back with a sickening crunch. Suji screams, and the minions panic, asking if she is okay or if Daejin is crazy. Daejin analyzes her opponent. Suji is pure muscle, hardened down to the bone. Suji manages to break free and punches Daejin square in the stomach. It hurts, but our queen is impressed. This girl is not sheltered. She is a straight-up brute. Instead of crying, Daejin starts laughing. She decides Suji might actually be a worthy opponent. Suji, confused by the maniacal laughter, orders her minions to get Daejin up so she can fix her memory with a few more beatings. Meanwhile, back in the classroom, Yujun notices that Chaiwon looks suspiciously happy for someone whose face is covered in red marker. Chaiwon plays coy, but then a student bursts in, yelling that Suji is beating up Daejin in the cafeteria. The class cheers, eager for violence. Sunga suddenly puts the pieces together. Suji knows? But Daejin is Sunga's territory. The class starts running to watch the show, but Sunga stays behind to have a little chat with Chaiwon. Sunga accuses Chaiwon of calling Suji. Chaiwon tries to deny it, claiming she has too much pride to stoop that low. Sunga pretends to trust her, saying she wouldn't bite the hand that feeds her. This triggers Chaiwon. She grabs Sunga's arm, dropping the act. She sneers that she has always been stronger than Sunga and was only going easy on her because they were friends. Big mistake. Sunga's expression goes dark. She asks, "What bullshit?" and slams Chaiwon's face directly onto the desk, smashing her phone screen in the process. Sunga grabs Chaiwon by the hair and informs her that she never considered her a friend. She is just a lackey. She warns Chaiwon to look her in the eyes when she speaks. As Sunga walks out to the cafeteria, she thinks to herself how much she hates sharing what is hers. The queen bee is on the move, and she is not happy about the competition. The red buffalo is having a full-blown existential crisis in the middle of the cafeteria. She is the one who threw the first punch, yet she is currently getting her but kicked by the class outcast. The students whispering around her are starting to question if she is actually the top dog or just all talk, which is bruising her ego more than her face. Suji flashes back to her origin story, where she was a big kid called a turtle by her coach because she was too slow. She learned to use her size to crush opponents, winning a gold medal in youth wrestling. She also remembers fondly how she used to treat Daejin like a personal Uber Eats service, demanding she buy bread, and not the cheap stuff from the school store, but the premium goods. Back then, Daejin would beg for mercy. But now, the loser is staring her down with the eyes of a seasoned killer. Our queen looks at Suji and sighs, noting that everyone goes through a phase of reckless bravado. She decides it is time to have some real fun. She calmly removes her hair ribbon, preparing to use it as a weapon, because apparently, she can kill you with accessories too. Suji charges in, but Daejin parries the attacks using just the ribbon and her fists, landing a solid hit right on Suji's jaw. The crowd is growing larger, and Suji is mortified that she is getting thrashed in front of an audience. Desperate to save her reputation, Suji muscles up, screaming that Daejin is done for. Daejin just smirks, thanking Suji for helping her relive some old memories of street fights and festivals back in her era. Suji has absolutely no idea what this crazy girl is talking about, but she doesn't have time to ask. Daejin grabs Suji by the waistband, shifting into a traditional wrestling stance. Suji, the actual wrestling champ, is confused. How does this girl know how to use a heavier opponent's center of gravity against them? Daejin tries to execute a knee flip. Suji is sweating bullets, wondering if Daejin learned these moves from watching TV because there is no way a high schooler should have this technique. But our queen has a bigger concern. Lunchtime is running out. She cannot waste any more minutes on this brawl if she wants to eat. Suji, refusing to accept defeat, tries to use her size to lift Daejin up. Big mistake. Daejin uses the momentum to flip the script, literally. She slams the red buffalo into the ground with a massive suplex. The cafeteria goes silent. Yujun, the bully boy, watches in shock, realizing Suji's back might be broken. Meanwhile, Sunga, the terrifying ringleader, watches with a maniacal grin, finding this trash can suddenly very interesting. Daejin stands over the defeated gladiator. She leans down and whispers that she will spare her because Suji is still young and her bones are still developing. Then she spots the real prize. She snatches a snack right out of Suji's hand. As the baffled Suji asks when she grabbed that, our queen walks away, blushing with happiness as she finally takes a bite, declaring the taste absolutely exquisite. Victory tastes like stolen junk food. Yoojun is trying to process the fact that Daejin just took down Suji using wrestling moves, of all things. The entire school is freaking out. Social media is lighting up with comments about Suji getting wrecked, calling it the downfall of Chonghong Middle's ringleader. Even the upperclassmen are blowing up Yoojun's phone, demanding to know who this mystery girl is. They suspect she's possessed because she's acting like a completely different person. Yoojun shows the comments to Sunga, but she just brushes the phone away, uninterested. Yoojun sighs, texting someone that Daejin is just a nobody from Muji Middle to downplay the situation, but he's internally panicked. He reflects on the hidden war zone that is Yuhan High. The school is only 3 years old, divided between the wealthy kids from Muji Middle and the tough fighters from Chonghong Middle. It's been a brutal power struggle for the top spot. Muji Middle uses money to buy influence, while Chonghong uses fists. Sunga is from Muji Wealth, while Suji and Chaiwon are from Chonghong Brawn. Chaiwon betrayed her roots to suck up to Sunga for protection and perks, leaving Suji at the bottom of the ladder. Yoojun, on the other hand, is just here for the amazing school lunches and the thrill of bullying. But he wonders if Daejin might be here for the same reason, to take over. He scoffs at the idea of a girl who was never on the radar, suddenly thinking she can rule the school. In class, while the teacher drones on, our queen is still obsessed with one thing: food. She aggressively asks the pink girl to show her the menu board so she can go home with peace of mind knowing tomorrow's lunch options. The pink girl nervously agrees. Meanwhile, a more serious scene unfolds in the staff room. Daejin's mother has arrived, nervously offering coffee to a teacher. The teacher is annoyed, wondering why this woman who clearly isn't from a wealthy Muji family is wasting his free period. The mom stammers that her daughter, Daejin, came home beaten up last week. The teacher immediately dreads the headache of dealing with school violence, but puts on a fake sympathetic smile. The mom reveals she saw the bullies herself. They were wearing the school uniform. She mentions a boy and a girl with short hair, Chaiwon, and starts to describe a girl with long blonde hair, Sunga. The teacher panics. He knows exactly who she means, and if Sunga is involved, it spells trouble with the chairman. He quickly interrupts the mom, questioning if she is sure about what she saw, gaslighting her into silence. He ushers her out, promising to give them a serious talk and handle it quietly, explicitly telling her not to involve the disciplinary committee. As soon as she leaves, he sighs in relief, glad she didn't remember specific names. He mutters that if Chairman Choi finds out, it will be a disaster. Speak of the devil. The chairman, Tai Yong Choi, appears behind him like a jump-scare villain. He demands to know who the woman was. The teacher, sweating buckets, tries to downplay it as a minor student conflict, admitting it involves Sunga. He assures the chairman he has taken care of it, claiming kids grow through these things. The chairman is not interested in growth. He coldly orders the teacher to bring that parent into his office immediately. It seems the cover-up just hit a massive roadblock. The scene opens in the chairman's office, where the nameplate mentor sits on his desk, supposedly representing honor that reaches far and wide. He tells Daejin's mother that school violence is not the legacy he intended for his prestigious institution, and pretends to be deeply troubled. The mother, clearly desperate, suggests reporting the incident to the police and tracing the call from the warehouse. But when she mentions the disconnect, the chairman smoothly lies, showing her a CV of a student who recently transferred out, suggesting that the culprit is already gone. When the mom looks at the picture and says the girl looks similar but still wants to go to the police, the chairman interrupts her. He warns her that kids these days hide behind juvenile laws to avoid consequences, and if she provokes them without solid proof, the retaliation could be frightening. He manipulates her fear, suggesting that since Daejin is still attending school voluntarily, it might be best to observe the situation for a bit. He adds a fake sympathetic touch, telling her to come see him anytime because, after all, he's a parent too. Outside in the courtyard, the mom spots our girl and rushes over, fussing over her loose hair and asking if she ate lunch and if anyone bothered her. Daejin, trying to play it cool, lies through her teeth, saying lunch was most satisfying, while her stomach loudly growls in protest. On the scooter ride home, Daejin reflects. She didn't get to eat and she didn't make any friends, but she decides it's okay because she has someone who cares for her. However, she has one request: fried chicken for dinner. She is so desperate she offers to catch the bird herself if necessary. But at the dinner table, tragedy strikes. Instead of crispy fried goodness, she is presented with chicken soup. Daejin is outraged, asking if her mother didn't hear her express her desire earlier. The mom tries to explain that she thought something nourishing would be better since Daejin just got out of the hospital, hoping it might help her regain her memory. Daejin pushes the table, declaring she has had plenty of soup in the past and is hugely disappointed. But then the mom starts crying, apologizing for not being able to protect her or make the food she likes. Daejin immediately feels guilty. She awkwardly tries to comfort her, quickly shoving a piece of boiled chicken into her mouth and declaring it very delicious, just to stop the tears. Meanwhile, in a PC cafe, Chaiwon is gaming and ignoring her phone, which has over 10 missed calls. Her friend warns her that her brother is calling and he's scary as hell, but Chaiwon thinks it's a hassle. The call goes to voicemail. We cut to the red buffalo, Suji, who is seething with rage because Chaiwon is ignoring her. Her friends fuel the fire, reminding her that Chaiwon used to be known as the snake queen in middle school for switching sides whenever it suited her. Suji crushes a cigarette on the table, vowing to kill them all for the disrespect. Back in her room, Daejin is marveling at the comfort of her bed, feeling guilty for fussing over food when so many souls go hungry. She wonders if the harvest is in full swing and hopes the girl she wrestled, Suji, is okay, dismissing the bullies as naive children who just need to learn lessons. The next morning at school, it's PE first thing, which everyone agrees is the worst way to start the day. Daejin opens her locker to find her PE uniform is filthy and messed up. She stares at the ruined clothes and simply says, "Well, would you look at that?" clearly unimpressed by this petty attempt at sabotage. We are outside on the school field, where the class is gathering for PE. And the pink-haired girl is nervously looking around, convinced that our queen isn't going to show up. And honestly, who could blame her? Aeon remembers how these bullies tormented Daejin in the past, when she refused to lend her gym clothes and slapping her around for being selfish. It's a traumatic flashback where Chaiwon, the blue-haired snake, sarcastically promised that they would stick together and have quality time during PE from now on. Back in the present, Aeon is trembling, thinking that even though Daejin knocked out the red buffalo yesterday, the nightmare is far from over. The teacher, who is clearly just trying to do the bare minimum, asks if everyone wants to play dodgeball. The bullies cheer like they just won the lottery, while Aeon looks like she's about to throw up. But before the teacher can blow the whistle, a loud voice interrupts the despair. Our girl arrives, and she is making a statement. She apologizes for her tardiness while wearing a PE uniform that is roughly 5 sizes too big. She looks like she's wearing a parachute. She explains that she couldn't find an appropriate place to change and had to uphold her dignity, patting the teacher on the back like an old friend. The teacher just thinks she talks funny and tells her to go have fun. Yoo-jun, the idol wannabe, is confused. He knows for a fact she shouldn't have gym clothes. He glances at Songa, the blonde psycho, who is just smiling mysteriously, making him think she orchestrated this. Meanwhile, Chaiwon is fuming. She realizes that the trash can she knew has been replaced by someone who beats up wrestling champions. She decides that a 1v1 fight is too risky after seeing what happened to Suji. Her new strategy? Gang up on her and wear her down. She tells her squad that today isn't about fun. They need to go all out to survive and take her down for good. Daejin looks around, genuinely confused, asking what kind of training involves a rubber ball. Aeon mentally screams that this is killer dodgeball, where you can't step out of the lines and they pelt you with soccer balls. She grabs Daejin's hand and tries to run as the first ball flies past them. Chaiwon taunts them, looking evil with the ball in her hand, asking why they don't try catching it instead of screaming. Chaiwon tosses the ball to Hyrak, the ginger-haired bully. He is eager to prove himself, telling Daejin that yesterday was just a fluke. He winds up and throws a deadly fastball aimed right at her face. Daejin barely manages to dodge it, thinking, what on earth? She innocently asks if they are permitted to catch the ball. A poor guy with glasses tries to explain that they can't because it's too fast, but he gets smacked in the face mid-sentence. Comedy timing, 10/10. Now here's where our queen faces her biggest challenge. It's not the bullies, it's her wardrobe. She is slipping and sliding all over the grass. Why? Because she is wearing fine silk socks, and her feet are sweating, causing her to lose traction inside these massive shoes. She considers taking the shoes off for better grip, but immediately rejects the idea. Exposing her bare feet, or even just socks, in front of these commoners. Absolutely disgraceful. Hyrak sees her distracted and thinks she's scared. He shouts, "Trash can, if you keep spacing out, you're gonna get smashed," and prepares another throw. At the very last second, Daejin bends down to fiddle with her shoes, debating whether to untie them or not. While the ball whizzes harmlessly over her head, she is still deep in thought, wondering if she should disregard convention and just go barefoot. Chaiwon throws another heater, and Daejin dodges again on pure instinct, still lost in her dignity versus traction debate. Chaiwon is baffled. She thinks Daejin is just getting lucky. Realizing she can't hit the queen, Chaiwon decides to play dirty. She targets the other outcasts instead. The bullies start massacring the poor nerds in the center circle. Kids are dropping like flies. One guy screams that it hurts, and Chaiwon laughs, saying, "It's supposed to hurt." Daejin finally snaps out of her shoe crisis and looks around. Her teammates are writhing on the floor in pain. The bullies taunt her, saying even she can't win when they gang up. While the slaughter continues on the field, we cut to a quiet corridor. A dark-haired boy is walking while talking to his father on the phone. He assures his dad that his leg is fine and demonstrates it with a casual high kick. He walks into the empty classroom, tosses his bag down, and looks out the window to see his classmates in PE. He takes off his shirt, ready to change and join them. But he pauses. He looks around. His PE clothes are nowhere to be found. Our queen stands amidst the carnage of the dodgeball court. The glasses boy, Jizyuk, looks up at her and asks if she is okay. Chaewon is ready to end Jizyuk. She winds up to throw the ball, but before she can execute the poor kid, our girl steps in. She snatches the ball out of the air with a casual swipe. Jiseok is stunned, realizing she actually caught the ball, which means that it's time to switch. It's time for the bullies to become prey. Daejin holds the ball, looking at the opposing team. She realizes that her silk socks and the slippery grass are holding her back. If she wants to destroy these children, she needs traction. So, she makes a bold executive decision. She bends down and rips her shoes off. Hyurak loses it, cackling at Daejin's bare feet. They taunt her to throw the ball if she thinks she can. Oh, you really shouldn't have poked the bear. Daejin stretches her hand, ball in palm. She thinks about flow and pain, channeling her inner martial arts master. She winds up and hurls the ball. It flies so fast it practically breaks the sound barrier. It smashes into Hyurak, sending the ginger boy crashing to the ground before he even knows what hit him. Chaewon stops laughing. She stares in shock, wondering what the hell just happened. The glasses boy, Jiseok, gets the ball next. He immediately passes it back to Daejin. Chaewon scoffs, shouting that it does not matter who he passes to because she will catch it first. Daejin begs to differ. She mutters that they must face the consequences. She throws again. This time, the ball defies physics. It hits one bully, ricochets, and takes out a second one in a single shot. 2 birds, 1 rubber stone. Chaewon is watching her team drop like flies and is starting to panic. She realizes that taking down Suji yesterday was not just beginner's luck. Now it is Ayun's turn. The pink-haired girl wants to help. She tries to make a pass to Daejin. But, bless her heart, the pass is terrible. It is sailing way over Daejin's head. Chaewon smirks, thinking it is hers. But our queen does not believe in bad passes. She jumps, contorting her body in midair with a funny, intense expression. She lands in a handstand, balancing on her toes in one hand, and catches the ball with the other. The class goes silent. They are looking at her like she is an alien. That move defied gravity, anatomy, and common sense. Daejin rights herself and throws again. More bullies fall. Soon, the opposing team is decimated. Only 2 remain standing, Chaewon and Sangha. Sangha, the blonde psycho, hasn't moved an inch. She just stands there, unbothered. Chaewon, however, is spiraling. She is screaming internally, furious that she cannot catch the ball and is losing in front of Sangha. Sangha waves at her, asking what she is waiting for. Chaewon snaps. She decides to abandon the game entirely. She storms across the court, crossing the line, and approaches Daejin to fight her up close. She calls our girl a bitch and accuses her of acting high and mighty. Daejin looks at her calmly. She asks what on earth she is doing and reminds her that she must respect the rules during training. Daejin pushes Chaewon back. She raises the ball and gives Chaewon some friendly medical advice. Clench your teeth. It will help stop the bleeding. Before Chaewon can process that, Daejin smashes the ball directly into her face. Chaewon stumbles, cursing, but Daejin isn't done. She catches the rebound and slams it into Chaewon's face again. Daejin looms over her, lecturing her. She asks if she didn't warn her yesterday to cherish the body her parents gave her. Then, she reveals the true reason for her rage. It wasn't the bullying. It wasn't the insults. It was the feet. Daejin growls that Chaewon made her expose her precious feet before these commoners, and that is unforgivable. Chaewon looks like she is about to pass out. Our queen turns her gaze to the final boss, Sangha, noting she is the only one left. Sangha smiles, finding this whole situation interesting. But just as the final showdown is about to begin, a shadow falls over the court. The boy from the hallway has finally arrived. The crowd whispers in shock. Apparently, Siyun is here today, which is a rare and terrifying event. Our queen, unaware of the approaching doom, winds up to throw the ball at Sangha. But before she can release it, a foot flies out of nowhere and kicks the ball right out of her hand. Standing before her is Siyun, the mad dog of 2-1 high. He doesn't say hello. He just barks. Why are you wearing my gym clothes? Take them off now. Daejin looks him up and down, analyzing him like a general inspecting a new recruit. She notes his towering height, befitting a spear-bearer, and his long arms, perfect for wielding weapons. She admits she has never felt pressure like this from a student before, wondering if he is a boy or a grown man. Siyun interrupts her assessment, snapping at her again to strip. Daejin finally realizes the found clothes belong to this giant. She politely explains she found them in her locker and apologizes for the mix-up. But Siyun isn't here for apologies. He grabs her face with one hand, squeezing her cheeks, and asks if she thinks this is funny. Oh, big mistake. Daejin's eyes go cold. She calls him an insolent boy and demands he unhand her, warning him that she is not afraid to strike a man. Siyun smirks, replying that he hits girls too, and tells her, ladies first, inviting her to take a shot. Daejin grabs his arm, noting his impressive grip strength. Siyun taunts her, asking what she is waiting for. Daejin sighs, says, very well, and politely apologizes once more. Then, she uses his own momentum to smash him directly into the ground. The class watches in horror. Jiseok, the glasses boy, whispers, She just threw Siyun. Songa grits her teeth, muttering that this doesn't make any sense. Yujun, the idle boy, runs over in a panic asking what they should do, but Songa just coldly orders everyone to get ready for the next class. We cut to the nurse's office. Chaiwon, the blue-haired snake, wakes up groggy. She sees a figure and assumes it's the nurse. She asks how long she has been asleep and is told it's been 3 hours. It's already lunchtime. Chaiwon immediately starts whining. She complains that her head is splitting and asks why she wasn't woken up earlier because lying down all day is annoying. The voice replies, "Oh really? But you were sleeping so soundly." Chaiwon freezes, revealing Songa standing there. Songa grabs Chaiwon by the neck, musing that it was a mistake trusting a loser like her. She asks if she should just finish her off right there or give her one last chance for old time's sake. She releases Chaiwon and tells her that's what friends are for. She orders Chaiwon to take care of the trash can, Daejin, after school and send her proof. Songa hands her a knife or something sharp and tells her to peel off Daejin's skin if she has to, because she wants to know what is inside that girl. Chaiwon looks at the weapon in fear. Songa asks if she is getting cold feet. Chaiwon quickly denies it. She says she will do it, but she wants to confirm that this earns her a spot in the Lions meeting. She argues that if she hadn't been humiliated yesterday, she wouldn't have called Suji, and she even pulled an all-nighter to set up the gym clothes prank. She reveals that she was the one who put Siyun's gym clothes in Daejin's locker to frame her. She asks again if she is in the alliance. Songa smiles, pats her head, and says, "Of course. You are working so hard, after all." Outside the nurse's office, the hallway is buzzing. Suji, the red buffalo, is there with her lackeys. One lackey mentions that Chaiwon got her head smashed by Daejin today. Suji is furious. She storms to the door, cursing Chaiwon. She flings the door open, ready to scream at the blue-haired girl, but instead, she freezes. Songa is standing there. She smiles pleasantly and says, "Hello, Suji. You here to visit too?" The tension is so thick you could cut it with a scalpel. Songa sarcastically asks if this is Chunhong Middle is looking out for each other. Suji tells Songa to move aside because she needs to have a little chat with Chaiwon. Songa, like the devil herself, asks if Suji is here because she got her ass kicked by Daejin yesterday. She asks if Suji came to check if Daejin prefers the Chunhong gang or the Muji gang, turning a beatdown into a custody battle. Suji tells her to back off, but Songa is just getting started and asks Chaiwon herself. Suji mocks the rivalry, asking if this is a game of who do you like better, mom or dad? And that is when Songa decides to go nuclear. She points a finger and casually mentions that Chaiwon doesn't have a mom. The room goes silent. Suji is sweating bullets because apparently that was a top-secret bestie fact. Songa shrugs, saying she hates sharing what's hers, and warns Suji not to touch her toys until she is done playing with them. She mocks Suji's lackeys for huddling together like frightened penguins and walks out. Suji's minion asks why she let Songa talk to her like that. Suji whispers the dark truth. Rumor has it that the blonde psycho actually killed someone. While they are discussing murder accusations, they realize the bed is empty. Chaiwon, the coward of the year, has escaped through the window. Suji screams in rage. Cut to the classroom. The teacher is droning on about the school president, but Siyun, the mad dog, is deep in thought. He is staring at his hands, replaying the moment Daejin flipped him over like a pancake. He wonders if she has been hiding her strength all this time, letting people bully her on purpose. The teacher asks why she hasn't changed. Daejin, looking like a comfortable potato in the oversized fabric, replies that the 10-minute break is simply too short for a wardrobe change. A queen values efficiency over fashion. Siyun looks at her and realizes this whole setup smells like Songa. He glares, wondering what that blonde witch is plotting this time. He looks outside and has a flashback to the original Daejin. He remembers finding her alone in a classroom, confused because she didn't know about PE class. He realizes now that she was being sabotaged even back then. Cut to the soccer field. Siyun is playing, and he is a beast. Yujun, the idol wannabe, is watching from the sidelines, noting that Siyun's pace is insane because he's a taekwondo athlete. The girls from other classes are swarming like bees, swooning over Siyun playing in his uniform. But Songa isn't swooning. She is glaring at Daejin, who is standing there in Siyun's clothes. Siyun steals the ball and scores, looking effortless. Someone in the crowd shouts that he looks like a knight in shining armor, trying to save a damsel in distress. They point at Daejin. Our damsel is currently drowning in a polyester tracksuit, looking less like a princess and more like she's wearing a sleeping bag. The romance is truly dead on arrival. The PE class finally ends, and the students are buzzing. Everyone is whispering about Siyun's skills, wondering if he is secretly on the national soccer team because he scored every single time. Siyun is at the tap, washing his face and trying to wash away the shame of being body slammed by a girl. Suddenly, Songa appears, acting like a caring wifey. She hands him a towel and scolds him, telling him not to rush or he will catch a cold. She asks why he has that, referring to the gym clothes situation, and tells him to take better care of his stuff. Siyun tries to walk away, but Songa drops the facade. He stops her, but she laughs in his face. She reminds him of a harsh reality. He doesn't actually own anything. She coldly lists the facts. He is eating, sleeping, and living at the school thanks to her grandfather's sponsorship. According to her, he owes them for the very air he breathes. She delivers the final blow, telling him that if he wants to play hero and help others, he should get his owner's permission first. She hands him back his clothes and walks away, dropping a casual "see you at home," revealing that these two are tangled up in a domestic nightmare. Seon is left clenching his gym clothes, furious. He has a flashback to the past, seeing Chaiwon and the other minions bullying the original Daejin. He remembers telling them to stop, but being ignored. He realizes that Sangha has been pulling the strings all along, orchestrating the torment while he stood by helplessly. He looks at our queen in the distance and thinks, "You have done more than enough, Sangha." Meanwhile, in a dark corner of the school, Chaiwon is having a nervous breakdown. She is trying to light a cigarette, cursing Sangha's name. She is spiraling because Sangha humiliated her in front of Suji by revealing she doesn't have a mom. Chaiwon trembles, thinking, "I do have a mom. I just haven't met her yet." She is terrified that Sangha knows her deepest secrets. Chaiwon tosses her lighter, wondering where the trash can is hiding. She is still baffled by Daejin's sudden strength, thinking it is weird that the girl she beat with her own hands is now a Terminator. She decides she needs to investigate. Suddenly, she hears singing. Someone is cheerfully belting out, "It's a secret that I'm actually a girl from the galaxy." It is Ayun, the pink-haired fangirl. She is skipping along, her backpack exploding with Rabbit Girls merchandise, thinking about the new album. She is living her best life. Chaiwon, sensing weakness like a shark smells blood, decides to ruin the mood. She steps out with an ominous look, saying, "Alright, Galaxy Girl it is." She grabs Ayun, demanding to know where Daejin is. Ayun, terrified, stammers that Daejin doesn't have a phone. Chaiwon screams at her to stop lying and threatens to kick her. Ayun, on the verge of tears, swears she is telling the truth and mentions that she saw Daejin go home on a motorcycle. Chaiwon freezes. A motorcycle. Her villain brain immediately spirals. She wonders if Daejin leveled up from loser to badass overnight and got scouted by a gang. She is actually scared, thinking Daejin looks more intense now. Ayun is having an internal crisis. All she cares about is the Rabbit Girls concert happening today. She imagines missing it and starts crying internally. She looks at Chaiwon and briefly considers headbutting her with her thick skull and making a run for it. But she realizes Chaiwon is a zombie who would chase her to the ends of the earth. So, Ayun tries diplomacy. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a bunny-shaped lollipop. She nervously offers it to Chaiwon, saying that sweets help when you are stressed, and suggests they talk tomorrow. Chaiwon grabs the lollipop, but she is not charmed. She asks if Ayun thinks she is a joke. She holds the lollipop like a shank, pointing the stick directly at Ayun's eye. She delivers a terrifying threat. "If Daejin isn't around, you're next in line to be our class servant." Ayun trembles, realizing her peace offering just became a weapon, trembling before Chaiwon. Ayun decides that diplomacy has failed, and it is time to deploy the Joestar secret technique, running away. She tries to dart past the bully, but Chaiwon simply sticks out a foot and trips her. Ayun hits the floor hard. Desperate, she tries to offer an energy bar this time, stammering that it isn't too sweet, hoping to appease the beast. Chaiwon kicks the snack away like it's garbage. She kneels down, asking if Ayun likes sweets, and grabs the bunny lollipop from earlier. Chaiwon forces Ayun's mouth open and shoves the lollipop in, aggressively asking how it tastes. It is a scene straight out of a horror movie. Ayun is choking, tears streaming down her face, while Chaiwon complains that she is boring, because she's struggling to breathe. Chaiwon finally lets go as her phone rings. It's Hurak, the ginger-haired lackey. He tells her to stay put because he is about to secure some transportation. Ayun collapses on the floor, coughing her lungs out, realizing she just nearly died by confectionery. Cut to our queen's mother's restaurant. Hurak is there, ordering a massive feast like a paying customer, jampong, teziyuk, the works. He asks for delivery, scratching his ear while eyeing the keys to the delivery motorcycle sitting on the counter. Villainy is one thing, but theft and gluttony? That is a combo. Meanwhile, our queen is having a much more wholesome afternoon. She is studying English, specifically the word hungry, which she decides is the most important word in any language. She realizes it has been 10 days since she arrived in this strange world, and while the curvy letters of the alphabet confuse her, she has adapted perfectly to the cuisine. She stops at a street vendor and discovers the holy grail of snacks, tteokbokki. She eats the spicy rice cakes with pure joy, declaring that she wants to appoint the street vendor as her royal chef. As she chews, she ponders her situation. She realizes the original owner of this body was a victim of tyranny, much like she was in her past life. She suspects a mastermind, perhaps a chief state counselor type figure, is pulling the strings behind these high school bullies. Her political analysis is interrupted by a shout. She sees her mother running out of the shop, chasing after someone. It's Hurak. He has stolen the delivery motorcycle and is speeding away. Daejin's mom trips and falls on the pavement. Hurak rides right past our queen, looking her dead in the eye with a smug grin. "Oh, Hurak, you just signed your death warrant." Daejin stares at him, offended not by the theft, but by the sheer preposterous insolence of making eye contact with royalty while committing a crime. She helps her mother up. The poor woman is frantic about the bike, but Dae-jin is calm. She hands her mom the leftover tteokbokki and tells her to eat it before it gets cold, promising to retrieve the bike immediately. Priorities: 1. Snacks. 2. Justice. Dae-jin walks into the restaurant and finds the delivery order note, red roof parking lot next to Juwon High. She crumples the paper in her fist. The hunt is on. Cut to the hideout. Hyurak is laughing with his friends, recounting how hilarious it was to see the old lady running after him. He complains that he wanted to trash the place but held back because Songa wasn't there to cover for them. In the corner, poor Ayun is in bad shape. Her face is beaten and bleeding. She thinks to herself that this must be the pain Dae-jin felt all those times. The bullies drag her up, declaring her servant status confirmed, and one of them brings a lit cigarette close to her skin to mark her. But before the cigarette can burn her, the door slams open. Standing there is our queen. She is wearing a motorcycle helmet and carrying the metal delivery box. She looks at the room full of bullies and calmly says, "I was wondering why there were so many food orders. I see I am not merely feeding one mouth." We start with a trip down memory lane, straight into Ayun's nightmares. Excited to go to a photo booth with her friends. She is wearing her favorite outfit, a full-blown cutesy Rabbit Girls merch ensemble. She looks adorable, but her friends look like they want to die of embarrassment. They call her a blockhead and a creep, asking if she has any sense of TPO, time, place, occasion. They basically shun her for having a hobby that isn't being mean to people. Ayun sits there, sobbing, realizing that her passion for idols is the reason she has no friends. But then, we see a memory within a memory. The original Dae-jin, the shy one, sees Ayun's phone wallpaper and genuinely compliments her outfit, calling her amazing. Ayun realizes that the girl she watched get bullied all this time was the only person who ever treated her with kindness. The guilt hits her like a truck as she remembers watching Dae-jin suffer from the sidelines, thinking she would never see her again. Snap back to the present. The queen has arrived at the warehouse, holding the metal delivery box like a briefcase of doom. She scans the room and announces that she is not merely feeding one mouth. She gives them a lesson in hospitality. Usually you pay up front, but since the food is cold, she won't charge them. However, there is a penalty clause. Whoever meets her gaze first has to eat the food, forcibly. She takes off her helmet, looking majestic. Beaten and bruised on the floor, looks up in awe. Dae-jin sees her and scoffs, asking if this is theft and abduction. She calls it preposterous insolence. She then pulls a classic Sundra move. She declares that Ayun is not her friend, so they should let her go because she is irrelevant. Ayun looks down, agreeing that she doesn't deserve to be Dae-jin's friend after being such a coward. But before Ayun can spiral into self-loathing, Dae-jin gently places the motorcycle helmet on Ayun's head to protect her. Actions speak louder than words, people. Hyurak, the ginger bully, is cackling. He asks why she brought the food if it's cold. Dae-jin glares at him and says, "This brat dares to look me in the eye." Splat. She tosses a bowl of jampong, spicy seafood noodle soup, right into his face. Hyurak screams that it's spicy and blinding him. Then, in the most petty move of the century, he yells, "I don't even like jampong." He rushes at her, throwing a punch. Dae-jin dodges effortlessly. She apologizes sarcastically, saying he should have told her his preference earlier. She asks if he wants the jjajangmyeon, sweet bean noodles, instead, describing the sweet and salty delight while dodging his attacks like she's in the Matrix. Hyurak screams at her to shut up and swings again. Dae-jin bends her knees, dodging, and informs him that in her era, commoners who made eye contact would have their eyeballs gouged out. She lands a quick punch to his face to emphasize the point. The other bullies are panicking. The brown-haired girl suggests they help Hyurak because he is getting destroyed, but Taiwan, the blue-haired snake, holds her back. She is watching closely, saying she needs to check something. Back in the fight, Hyurak is staggering. His nose is broken, and his eyes are burning from the spicy soup. He sees Dae-jin reaching into the delivery bag again and panics, thinking she's reloading with more noodles. He decides to rush her before she can draw another weapon. He sprints at her while her back is turned. But Dae-jin spins around at the last second. She didn't grab food, she grabbed the bag. She slams the heavy metal delivery box directly onto his head, trapping his face between the partitions. She drags him around by the box like a ragdoll. Hyurak tries to resist, but she uses the momentum to spin him and throw him across the room. She asks him how it tastes now, even if it's cold. Hyurak hits the floor, defeated, covered in noodles and shame. A sharp metal piece of the box breaks off and lands right next to his face. He freezes. Dae-jin stands over him and commands, "Look down, scum." Hyurak immediately obeys, terrified. Our queen asks who is next to make eye contact. Meanwhile, in a different location, Suji Red Buffalo is arguing with her crew. Her friends think Chaiwon is a noob and suggest dropping her. But Suji stops them. She asks if they have ever seen Chaiwon fight. She reveals that Chaiwon is the real deal. Back at the warehouse, Dae-jin thinks the fight is over. She tells Chaiwon to think about why she needed to be taught a lesson. But Suji's voiceover reveals a terrifying fact. Chaewon's brother is Kim Chaeon, the world youth kickboxing champion. In the warehouse, Chaewon speaks up. She asks if Daejin thinks the cigarette burns on her arm are the only scars she has. As Suji explains that Chaewon grew up sparring with her champion brother, we see Chaewon move. Suddenly, a foot flies past Daejin's face. It's a high kick, fast, precise, and deadly. Chaewon missed on purpose. Chaewon smirks, noting that she was right about something. She asks Daejin the million-dollar question, why aren't you using your legs? It seems the snake has figured out a weakness in the queen's swordsmanship style. Chaewon is currently rewriting the laws of physics with her feet. She claims that her strategy all along was to let Daejin beat her up first because, apparently, getting your face smashed is the best way to analyze an opponent. That sounds less like a strategy and more like a lack of health insurance, but okay. She admits she was shocked by the loser's strength, but now she claims to see the weakness. Chaewon launches a kick so fast it practically has a zip code of its own. She asks our girl a very specific question. Why aren't you using your legs? Daejin is confused. She is trying to process why this high schooler fights like a trained assassin, while Chaewon answers her own question. She speculates that Daejin is instinctively holding back due to a past injury, asking if it was the right leg or the left. Then, in what might be the cringiest line of dialogue in villain history, Chaewon kicks her in the ribs and asks, how do you like my cupcake? I don't know what kind of bakery she goes to, but I would like a refund. Our girl is actually reeling. The pain pierces right through the bone. Chaewon laughs, mocking Daejin's scrawny legs, saying they look like they would snap with one hit. She mentions that she almost broke Daejin's leg that day too, triggering a memory of the original body owner's death. Our queen realizes this girl isn't just a bully. She's the one who shattered the previous Daejin. Chaewon lands a knee to the stomach, declaring that no matter how much Daejin changes, she can't fix the cracks in her bones. The other bullies cheer, relieved that the top dog of Chonghong Middle hasn't lost her touch. Even the ginger-haired lackey on the floor is watching in awe, realizing Chaewon is finally taking this seriously. Chaewon is feeling herself. She declares internally that she is the hidden ringleader, the cheetah of Chonghong. We cut briefly to Suji, who is at a wrestling gymnasium with her friends. They are discussing the legend of the cheetah. Suji's friends remember that Chaewon used to be a big deal in 8th grade, before she mysteriously vanished into the background. Flashback time. We see a younger Suji about to get jumped by a rival school. Back then, Chaewon stepped in like a hero, demanding to know how they dared to mess with someone from her neighborhood. It turns out Suji follows Chaewon not out of fear, but because Chaewon actually saved her back in the day. Suji explains to her friends that Chaewon, the cheetah, is fast as hell but has small teeth, meaning she isn't built for a long fight. Back in the warehouse, the cheetah is sprinting around our girl like she had too many espressos. She mocks Daejin for barely standing, bragging about how many legs she has broken. Daejin is on the defensive. She realizes Chaewon's legs are like loaded bowstrings, all muscle, no fat, built for explosive power. But our queen is a tactician. She notices that Chaewon keeps using high kicks, which consume a massive amount of energy. Daejin decides to play the long game, keep her distance, and let the cheetah burn out her gas tank. Chaewon, unaware that her battery is draining, taunts Daejin to come closer. She shouts that she doesn't have much time, which is ironic because she is wasting all of it showing off. She promises to send Daejin's obituary photo soon, which is a bit dramatic for a high school fight. Chaewon throws a fake kick, causing Daejin to slip and grab a piece of metal debris for defense. Chaewon laughs, saying that was just a feint, and continues to hammer Daejin's shins with low kicks. She is trying to chop our girl down like a tree. Chaewon shouts, just 3 more. Just 3 more kicks and your bones will break. She is manic, jumping higher and higher. But Suji's voiceover reminds us of the cheetah's fatal flaw, stamina. Just as Chaewon goes for the kill shot, she slows down, a fraction of a second. She doesn't even realize she has hit her limit. But our queen does. Daejin thinks, this is my moment. Instead of dodging, she steps into the attack. Chaewon launches a high kick, but Daejin catches her midair, by the throat. Chaewon is suspended in the air, held up by our girl's iron grip. She panics, landing a kick right on Daejin's chin, but Daejin doesn't even blink. Chaewon's inner monologue goes from, I am a god to why aren't her bones breaking, in record time. She is suffocating, thrashing around, trying to punch and kick, but she can't break free. Our girl looks at her with terrifying calmness, squeezing tighter. She asks the blue-haired cheetah a simple question. Are you not curious how much longer you can endure in my grasp? The predator just became the prey. The mighty cheetah has officially run out of gas. Chaewon taps Chaewon's arm in a panic, trembling as she begs our girl to stop. Our queen, ever the benevolent ruler, releases her grip. Chaewon gasps for air, cursing under her breath. But her brain is short-circuiting because Daejin is suddenly planning her next move. Our girl admits that when she first woke up in 2024, she felt stiff, assuming this new body was naturally weak. But she gives credit where credit is due. Chaewon's footwork is actually impressive enough to rival her own. This is high praise coming from a woman who used to hunt wild boars for fun. Over in the peanut gallery, Hurak, the ginger-haired punching bag, is staring with his mouth open. He finally proves he has a brain cell, realizing that Daejin isn't just brawling. She's using Taekyon, a traditional Korean martial art. Basically, she's kicking butt, Josian style. Chaiwon, however, is in crisis mode. She realizes her shins are completely wrecked from kicking Daejin's iron defense. She decides to switch tactics and aim for a knockout punch to the jaw, thinking she can end this in one blow. Oh honey, you really thought? Daejin sees the punch coming a mile away. She grabs Chaewon's fist and compliments her, saying, "I noticed earlier that your legs are quite sturdy." Then, in the ultimate power move, she adds, "So I shall borrow them for a moment." She cranks Chaewon's wrist, pulls her close, and literally steps on Chaewon's leg, using her enemy as a human steps tool to launch herself into the air. She calls it robust support. I call it absolute disrespect. Daejin executes a flying stomp, kicking Chaewon square in the chest with her other foot. Hurak screams the name of the move like an esports commentator, while the other bullies lose their minds. Even Ayun, the pink-haired fangirl, is crying tears of joy in the background. Chaewon is hurt, but she's got that shonen anime determination. She convinces herself that just one hit will fix everything, channeling her brother's teachings. She sprints forward, but Daejin blocks the punch effortlessly and grabs her wrist again. Our queen sighs, calling her insolent for daring to look her in the eye, and wonders if she should just knock her out to save time. Chaewon tries to retreat and set up a final kick. She thinks she's being clever, planning to bait Daejin into ducking so she can land a knee strike. But Daejin isn't falling for the same trick twice. Instead of ducking, our girl catches Chaewon's leg midair. Chaewon tries to pull free, screaming shit, as she realizes Daejin's grip strength has leveled up. Daejin smiles, a terrifying sight, and asks, "Are you curious why I have not used my legs until now?" She sweeps Chaewon's remaining leg, sending the cheetah crashing to the floor. Then, Daejin delivers the answer along with a high kick to the face, "Because my 2 hands were sufficient to handle you." Emotional damage, 100%. Physical damage, also 100%. But she isn't done. "But since you are eager," Daejin says, placing her hands on the ground. She flips into a handstand and delivers a somersault kick directly into Chaewon's face. Gravity? Never heard of her. Hurak is shaking on the floor. He recognizes the move as the blindfold, an ancient technique. He asks the question we've all been thinking. Is that bitch really from the Josian era? Yes, Hurak. And she is not amused. Daejin grabs the unconscious Chaewon by the jacket and slams her head back into the ground for good measure. She looks at the trembling lackeys and delivers a decree. Deliver a message to your leader. Tell them to stop hiding any longer. The queen is done with the minions. She wants the boss. The scene shifts from the dirty warehouse to a luxury mansion. Songa, the blonde psychopath, is studying like a model student. She goes downstairs for a coffee refill and finds her grandfather watching TV. The announcer is talking about an athlete named Young, likely Chaewon's brother, Chaeyoung, failing to use his core strength. The grandfather, who looks like he eats nails for breakfast, critiques the athlete, asking if he was injured during practice. Songa interrupts the sports analysis with a heavy dose of sass. Enjoying yourself? Why are you so obsessed with kids matches, grandfather? Looks like the villain has some daddy issues, or rather, granddaddy issues. We trade the dusty warehouse for a scene of opulence at the chairman's mansion, where Songa is pretending to be a diligent student. She heads downstairs and finds her grandfather, Chairman Choi, the same man who gaslit Daejin's mom earlier, watching TV. Songa asks why he bothers sponsoring youth matches when adult leagues are clearly superior. The chairman decides this is the perfect moment for a back-in-my-day speech. He claims that when he was young, he had 0 pennies to his name, only pure passion and the beat of his own heart. He says this while wearing a Rolex that probably costs more than my entire existence. The hypocrisy is truly blinding. On the TV screen, the announcer is losing his mind because Suji, the red buffalo, just won her match. The chairman gets misty-eyed, claiming his heart races seeing these kids chase their dreams. He asks Songa if she feels for the children who can't chase their dreams due to circumstances. Songa nods, but her face is as empty as a politician's promise. The chairman abruptly switches gears to ask if she is ready for midterms. He reminds her of their agreement. If she gets the grades, he grants her request. As he walks away, Songa thinks he better keep that promise, looking like she's planning a coup. The scene shifts to something much more appetizing. A steaming bowl of rabaki, ramen, and takbaki. And the pink-haired fangirl is sitting in Daejin's mom's restaurant, shouting wow, like she just discovered fire. She is bruised and battered, but she is absolutely inhaling the food. The mom explains she made a fresh batch because the delivery Daejin brought back was cold. Ayun declares it is even better than her own mother's cooking, which is a dangerous thing to say on record. The mom asks about the scooter. Our queen flashes a charming smile and says she and the scooter returned unscathed. However, we get a quick flashback to the reality. We see our mighty warrior sweating buckets, manually pushing the heavy scooter uphill with Ayun because neither of them knew how to drive it. Dae-jin thinks that pushing that bike was physically harder than beating up an entire gang. The mom notices Ayun and asks if they are close. Dae-jin chuckles, about to politely define the relationship, but Ayun interrupts by screaming, "Yes, I am Dae-jin's best friend." She is really manifesting this friendship. We flash back 1 hour to see how this bond was forged in battle. While Dae-jin was busy destroying the cheetah, Ayun actually fought back. She tackled the brown-haired bully, grabbing her by the hair. The bully tried to grab Ayun, but our girl was wearing the slick motorcycle helmet, so her hands just slipped off. Ayun shouted, "You always called me a blockhead," and proceeded to headbutt the bully with a helmet. That is poetic justice. The bully cried that it hurt, which is generally what happens when you get headbutted by safety equipment. Suddenly, the bullies looked over in shock to see their leader, Chaiwon, completely knocked out in Dae-jin's arms. Dae-jin tossed the unconscious body at the brown-haired girl and demanded she take an obituary photo to send to the real leader. Ayun was so overwhelmed by the coolness of it all that she started hiccuping and crying simultaneously. Later that night, Ayun offered the helmet back, but then grabbed Dae-jin's clothes. She suggested they go grab Malatang, but Dae-jin was confused because she doesn't speak Gen Z food trends. Back in the present, the mom is so happy Dae-jin has a friend that she tells Ayun to eat as much as she likes and invites her to sleep over. Ayun cheers, "Yay." Dae-jin, however, is scandalized. She shouts, "That will not do. How dare you suggest bringing someone into my quarters?" To her, a bedroom is a royal chamber, not a slumber party venue. The mom and Ayun just laugh, ignoring her protests. Meanwhile, back at the mansion, Songa is trying to study but finds herself distracted. She wonders what Chaiwon is up to and checks her phone. She sees a message that bypassed the chain of command. She taps the image, expecting to see Dae-jin beaten to a pulp. Instead, she finds a photo of Chaiwon looking like she lost a fight with a train. Songa freezes. The message reads, "Dae-jin wants you to stop hiding and come out." Songa's face goes from bored rich girl to homicidal maniac. She is absolutely furious. She immediately calls someone named Servant Park, staring into the void with dead eyes, thinking, "Pick up, you bitch." The queen has officially sent her declaration of war. Back in our girl's apartment, a phone is buzzing on the desk. The caller ID displays the name Master, which tells you everything you need to know about the toxic power dynamic Dae-jin inherited. But nobody picks up. Songa, calling from her ivory tower, is sent straight to voicemail with the generic, "The person you are trying to reach is unavailable" message. She is absolutely fuming. She trembles with rage, clutching her phone and hissing, "Trashkin, how dare you? Getting ghosted by the girl you bullied? That is a new level of humiliation for the queen bee." Meanwhile, downstairs in the boys' locker room, or perhaps his bedroom, Seyun is unzipping his bag. He pulls out his gym uniform and a note flutters to the floor. It reads, "Thanks for lending me your training uniform." He reads it and bursts out laughing. The mad dog is officially smitten. Someone call a doctor. His heart is melting. Back at the sleepover, the vibes are decidedly more emotional. Dae-jin is tucking herself into bed while Ayun, the pink-haired fangirl, is lying on the floor surrounded by blankets. Ayun asks if Dae-jin is awake, and our queen admits she is feeling a bit drowsy, but Ayun needs to get something off her chest. She apologizes profusely for ignoring Dae-jin all this time, admitting she was too scared to show courage. Dae-jin wonders if this apology is meant for her or the previous owner of the body, but she listens anyway. Ayun continues, saying that seeing Dae-jin stand up so bravely made her realize what a foolish coward she has been. She sits up, determination in her eyes, and asks for a favor. She wants to be strong like Dae-jin. She declares, "I want to be the one protecting you." It is adorable, really. She is like a level 1 slime asking to tank for the final boss. Dae-jin notes that strength isn't easily attained and decides it is story time. She begins a fable about 2 armies preparing for a great battle. The enemy had a terrifying sword master who charged forward, brandishing his blade menacingly. A brave Joseon soldier tried to fight him but was defeated instantly. Soldiers fell one by one until the morale was in the toilet. The frustrated commander offered a promotion to anyone who could bring him the sword master's head, but everyone was too chicken to step up. The enemy sword master left, calling them pathetic fools. Just when all hope seemed lost, a soldier of the lowest rank raised his hand. The other soldiers mocked him, pointing out how scrawny he was and saying he had a death wish. But with no other options, the commander let him go. Instead of swinging a sword, this scrawny soldier began to dance. He moved strangely in front of the swordmaster. The enemy laughed at the sight, but suddenly, gasp, he collapsed. The Joseon soldier seized the moment and defeated the enemy, leading his army to victory. The astonished commander asked how he did it. The soldier explained that he was born unable to walk and had no friends, so he stayed in his room every day practicing one thing, throwing needles. After years of relentless practice, he could throw a needle more accurately than a spear. The dancing? Just a distraction. When the sword master let his guard down to laugh, the soldier did what he always did. He threw a needle. Back in the present, Ayun is starry-eyed shouting, "Wow, what a brave soldier." Dae-jin laughs and delivers the moral of the story. If you want to be strong, master one skill. She points out that Ayun has quite a hard head and suggests she learn techniques to utilize that natural talent. Ayun is beaming. She exclaims, "Okay, my blockhead is actually special now. Only our queen could turn 'you have a thick skull' into an inspirational speech." We cut to the streets for the walk of shame. Chaiwon, the defeated cheetah, is stumbling along, supported by Shin, the brown-haired lackey. Shin asks if Chaiwon is sure she doesn't need a doctor because her face is basically an abstract painting right now. Chaiwon snaps, "Shut up. This is nothing," clearly running on pure denial and adrenaline. Shin worries about Chaiwon's reputation and how her famous brother will react to seeing her like this. Chaiwon isn't worried about her health. She is worried about her career prospects. She thinks, "Because of you, Park, I lost my chance to join the alliance." She worked so hard to kiss up to Sangha, and now it is all ruined. Suddenly, Shin spots someone. She points out a guy named Jungle or Youngwoo, a middle school dropout who is now a delivery boy. Chaiwon sneers, calling him a loser. Shin decides to wave at him, which is the worst possible move. Chaiwon panics, asking why the hell she is calling him over when her face looks like ground beef. Shin says, "Oops, he made eye contact," but then she corrects herself. "No, the guy next to him is staring at us." Chaiwon flinches hard. She turns around immediately, whispering, "Let's get out of here." But it is too late. Shin says, "Wait, he's coming this way," as the man approaches. Chaiwon tries to limp away, cursing, but Shin realizes the guy looks familiar. Chaiwon looks absolutely freaked out. Back on the street, the awkwardness level has just hit a critical mass. Chaiwon, the blue-haired cheetah, is staring at the delivery guy, while Shin, the brown-haired lackey, is vibrating with confusion. Shin looks between them and shouts, "You two look alike. You're Chaiwon's brother, right?" The brother, a simple delivery man just trying to do his job, admits, "Oh yeah. But Chaiwon?" She hits the eject button. She screams, "Fuck," internally and physically darts away, deciding that ghosting her own family is better than admitting she is related to a delivery boy. She thinks, "Brother my ass," which is a biological impossibility, but we understand the sentiment. She is limping away so fast she trips over her own feet, because gravity clearly has a vendetta against her today. Shin rushes over, asking if she is okay, but Chaiwon is lost in a spiral of self-loathing. She thinks that pride has ruined her life for as long as she can remember. Cue the wavy screen effect. We are going into a flashback. Welcome to middle school, the ninth circle of hell. We see a tiny, innocent Chaiwon surrounded by a group of girls who are discussing very important geopolitical issues, color contact lenses, and lip tints. Chaiwon, who is clearly broke, awkwardly admits she has never worn makeup, trying to hide her poverty. Chaiwon reflects that power is all about strength, but in the world of teenage girls, it is way more complicated. To avoid being exiled from the group, she had to lie about everything. When asked where she lives, she lies about being in a new apartment complex. When asked about her parents, she vaguely says she lives with her brother, dodging the orphan label like a pro. It is exhausting. She thinks pretending to be like everyone else was essential for survival. Then comes the classic bathroom gossip scene. Chaiwon is in a stall, trying to pee in peace, when her friends walk in. One of them says, "We picked Chaiwon to even out our group, but maybe that was a mistake." Another adds, "My mom said to choose friends carefully, probably shouldn't choose an orphan." Ouch. Kids are brutal. They decide to keep her around solely for even numbers on bus seats and group projects, basically treating her like a human placeholder. Chaiwon hears everything. She thinks this is worse than elementary school, but she doesn't have the courage to confront them because she is terrified of being alone. Later, the group decides to go eat ramen. Chaiwon hates ramen because it is the only cheat meal she can afford, but she forces a smile and agrees because peer pressure is a heck of a drug. While eating, the mean girls start roasting a classmate for wearing a short skirt, calling her a loser. Chaiwon tries to change the subject by complimenting their bracelets. Big mistake. The girls look at her like she has 3 heads. "We talked about this in the group chat." "Oh wait, you don't have a phone," one sneers. They laugh, saying she probably can't afford one. One girl tries to soften the blow by saying, "You're just a bit different from us. Different doesn't mean wrong." That is the most condescending, live, laugh, love speech I have ever heard. Chaiwon walks home sobbing, hating them for acting superior just because they have parents. On the stairs, she runs into a group of older boys. One of them is the kickboxing champion, who just took down a 9th grader. It is her brother, Chaeyoung. His friends ask if he knows the crying girl, and he proudly says, "Yes, she's my sister." A blonde girl with him, named Rangli, coos over Chaiwon, calling her a mini Chaeyoung and wiping her tears. She asks the golden question, "So, who made you cry?" Cut to the classroom. The blonde Rangli kicks the door open like she pays the mortgage. She scans the room, spots the girl with the friendship bracelet, and immediately slaps her in the face. The girl asks why, and Rangli just keeps slapping her, slamming her head into the lockers. Her reason? 7th graders aren't allowed to wear accessories. It is petty, it is violent, and it is effective. Rangli pats Chaiwon on the cheek and says, "Enjoy your lunch, sis." Chaiwon looks at the carnage and thinks, "Yes, sis." From that day on, the dynamic shifted. Everyone looked down in fear. Chaiwon realized that if she wanted something, she could just take it. We see her in the bathroom again, but this time, she is the predator. She steals a girl's lip gloss. When the girl protests that her mom gave it to her, Chaiwon kicks her in the stomach. She sneers. Must be nice to have a mom to fuss over you. Chaiwon decided to become the thing she hated most. She recruited Shin, the brown-haired girl, and they bonded over being cool kids who bully people. Chaiwon promised to put in a good word with her big sis Rangli to join the alliance. Just as Chaiwon was fully embracing her villain era, tasting the power she craved, reality came knocking. She receives a phone call. She screams, "What? What happened to my brother?" Her brother, the protector, had a terrible accident. And just like that, the cheetah's world is about to crumble again. Chaewon storms into the hospital room screaming because, honestly, what the hell happened? She finds her brother looking like he went 12 rounds with a meat tenderizer. His friend, the guy with the headband, tries to explain the situation, but the brother cuts him off immediately. He claims he had a small motorcycle accident. Right, because a small accident usually results in full-body reconstruction. Despite looking like a mummy, the brother has the audacity to tell her to stop worrying and go to cram school. Seriously? The man is half dead in a hospital bed, and he is worried about her algebra grades. The sheer stress of his stupidity is too much for our girl, and she literally faints. Outside the hospital, the exposition squad is having a smoke break. They reveal that it was definitely not a traffic accident. 3 guys ganged up on him and beat him to a bloody pulp. Apparently, he took the fight for the money. The headband guy explains that the brother gave up a promising boxing career to do delivery jobs just to pay for his sister's tuition. This man is a saint, and his sister is about to find out just how ungrateful she has been. We dive into a flashback from the perspective of the blue-haired cheetah, Chaiwon. She is walking down the street with her lackey, Shin, discussing the very important career path of becoming TikTok famous. As they walk, her brother drives by on his delivery scooter. He is about to wave hello, but Chaiwon ignores him completely. She keeps talking to Shin, terrified that being related to a delivery guy will ruin her cool girl image. Suddenly, a car that costs more than their entire neighborhood pulls up next to them. A guy covered in tattoos rolls down the window and calls out to her. Chaiwon acts annoyed, asking if she knows him, but the guy laughs. He says she looks just like her brother, especially with that defiant glare. Beside him sits a gorgeous woman who looks like a celebrity. The tattoo guy introduces Chaiwon as the little sister of his best boy, the boxing champion. Chaiwon realizes the woman is Soya, a famous streamer, and starts reassessing her life choices. The tattoo guy hands Chaiwon a business card and asks her to pass a message to her brother. Apparently, the brother has been ghosting him. He slips her some cash as pocket money and asks her to convince the brother to come work for him. Chaiwon takes the bait, thinking this is her second chance at a glamorous life. Back at their humble home, the brother snatches the business card from her hand and tears it into confetti. Chaiwon is furious, asking why he ruined the card. He ignores her tantrum and tells her to grab her bag for cram school. Chaiwon snaps, asking why he cannot be cool like the tattooed guy. She screams that she is tired of living in a dump and cleaning up other people's crap. The brother loses his cool and slaps her across the face. The silence that follows is deafening. He immediately regrets it, his hand trembling, but the damage is done. Chaiwon looks at him with pure hatred and delivers a low blow. She tells him he is exactly like their father, the man who used to beat their mother. She accuses him of being the reason their mom ran away. The brother tries to apologize, but Chaiwon is already walking out the door. She tells him to save his fake apology and just go kick the bucket. She slams the door, vowing never to end up like him. Back in the present, our rude punch bag is being carried on her brother's back, vowing to never become like him. He tells her that is fine, as long as she lives a decent life. Little did she know that she would regret not listening to him. The scene shifts to the classroom, where the vultures are circling. One of the girls shows off a forum post featuring a high-definition photo of Chaewon's destroyed face. They are gossiping about who could have possibly done this, speculating it must have been a senior because there is no way a nobody like Daejin could pull it off. 3 girls in the back exchange significant looks. This is the Tier 2 crew from Muji Middle School. A girl with bangs, a blonde ponytail, and one with super long hair. They decide that with Chaiwon out of the picture, it is their time to shine. They plan to step out of the shadows and take over the class hierarchy. Great, just what this school needs, more aspiring dictators. Meanwhile, Yoojun, the lilac-haired idol wannabe, is looking at the same forum post. He asks Songa who would have the nerve to upload this. Songa, currently petting a black cat like a Bond villain, calmly admits she did it. Yoojun spits out his drink. He points out that sabotaging her own team is a risky move that could turn Chaiwon against them. Songa continues to stroke the cat, asking Yoojun if he could tell this cat, Snowball, apart from others. He says probably not. Songa explains that Snowball knows exactly who she is, because she is the one who feeds her. To the cat, she is the only human who matters. She stands up, declaring that Chaiwon is exactly the same. By destroying Chaewon's reputation, she ensures the girl has nowhere else to go. Chaiwon needs Songa now more than ever. Songa tells Yujun not to worry about the politics, and orders him to do what he is good at. Yujun looks confused until she clarifies. She wants him to use his skills to find our queen's phone. The hunt is on, and the blonde psychopath is pulling all the strings. We open inside the mind of the lilac-haired idol trainee, who is currently having a main character moment. He is busy flexing his credentials. He is about to debut, he has 300,000 followers, and he could have gone to an arts high school. But no, he claims he is too smart for that. He decided not to put all his eggs in one basket because the entertainment industry is ruthless. He imagines a terrifying scenario, some random trainee sobbing on the floor because he got dropped from the debut lineup after being promised a spot. Our lilac-haired schemer looks at that pathetic display and thinks, not me. He has a plan B. His daddy taught him well, stay glued to Songa, the school's golden ticket, and get a recommendation for a top university from the chairman himself. He has been working double shifts, balancing dance practice and grades, and he refuses to let his perfect future be derailed by some loser. He confronts the blonde psycho Songa, asking if she is talking about that again. She coolly asks if he has forgotten, and he clenches his fist. Forgotten? How could he? He knows exactly how dangerous our queen is now. He has a traumatic flashback to her ripping his uniform open and declaring she has no issue striking a man. He realizes that if he messes with her again, she might leave a scar on his flawless face. And let's be real, his face is his entire personality. He shakes his head, freaked out by the memory, wondering why he has to be the one to dodge her punches when there are plenty of other easy targets around. Just as he is spiraling, Songa snaps him out of it, asking what he is spacing out about. Yujun panics and pulls the oldest trick in the book, aggressive flattery. He compliments her skin, asking which clinic she goes to because she looks amazing. Songa, humble as ever, claims her beauty is natural and that he would have to be reborn to look like her. Ouch. Yujun swallows his pride, agrees that she is flawless, and promises to get the phone because he always has a backup plan. In Class 1C, the vibe has shifted. The gray-haired nerd is celebrating the fact that Chaiwon didn't come to school, thinking a loser like him can finally know peace. He glances over at our queen, who is having a very serious discussion with the pink fangirl. The fangirl suggests a photo booth, and our girl immediately asks the important questions. What is a photo booth? Does it involve food? If not, she is not interested. The nerd stares at her with gratitude, but when she catches him looking, he panics and looks down immediately. Our girl is confused. Why is he avoiding her gaze? She flashes back to the sleepover where she asked for advice on interacting with commoners. The pink fangirl gave her the worst advice possible. Just make eye contact to show you're sincere. Back in the present, our queen decides to test this theory. She stares directly at the poor nerd with a creepy, frozen smile and greets him. The nerd is absolutely terrified, thinking she looks like a predator about to pounce. Our girl is trembling internally, wondering if she is doing it wrong, completely unaware that she is traumatizing the poor guy. Suddenly, the mood is ruined by the sound of crying. A girl is sobbing in the back of the classroom because the princess made her cry again. Her friends complain that he is so full of himself just because he is good-looking. Our queen perks up immediately. She thinks, Princess? Is there another royal from Joseon here? Oh, sweetie, if only. Yujun wanders into the hallway and stumbles upon a scene that makes everyone want to vomit. A pink-haired guy is sucking face with a girl in the middle of the school. The guy pulls away and says, only 2 more left, while the girl, clearly brainwashed, hugs him and calls him Highness. It is cringe level 9000. Yujun watches from the shadows, disgusted. The pink-haired guy, let's call him the princess, says he is going for a smoke while the girl goes to buy snacks. Of course, she is paying. Yujun is furious, wondering how this guy smokes like a chimney but still has a voice good enough for the center position. The jealousy is real. The princess spots Yujun and greets him casually. Yujun asks if he broke up with the last girl already. The princess shines brightly and declares that he never stays with one person longer than a season. Yujun calls him out, asking what that kiss was about, and the princess calls it charity, because she begged him. Yujun warns him that messing around will ruin him, but internally, he has a darker thought. If this pretty boy's face gets messed up, the center position in the idol group is all his. The princess ignores the lecture and asks Yujun to set him up with a new girl. Suddenly, a light bulb goes off in Yujun's head. He spots our queen in the hallway, loudly declaring that she does not do cleaning. Yujun looks at the spoiled princess, then at the terrifying queen, and realizes he can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. He tells the princess he has the perfect girl for him. He plans to set them up, hoping they will destroy each other. The princess asks if she is cute, totally unaware that he is about to date a woman who could snap him like a twig. Our girl turns around to memorize the face of the pink-haired flirt she just encountered, but because situational awareness is apparently not included in her skill set today, she slams right into a wall of muscle. It is Seyoon, the black-haired giant who owns the gym clothes she has been wearing for 2 days. Instead of a greeting, he simply commands her to follow him. He leads her to a gym storage room that smells like dust and teenage angst. Jiseok, the gray-haired nerd, is already there, holding a broom and looking terrified because he was too scared to ask Daejin to come here himself. Siyun tosses a broom at our queen like she is a maid service and asks Jiziek if he is happy now. Before anyone can ask why the school's top athlete is handing out cleaning supplies, Siyun announces he is heading out for training and pats Jiziek on the shoulder, wishing him good luck. Our girl stands there, confused, holding the cleaning tool like it is a foreign weapon. Jiziek explains that Siyun volunteered to cover the storage cleaning duty for the hospitalized Taiwan, but since he has training, he basically outsourced the labor to them. Wait, so he volunteered just to make them do it? That is some next-level delegation. Jiziek finds it odd because cleaning this storage room is usually reserved for the school's punching bags. He taps our girl on the shoulder, trying to have a bonding moment, reminding her that they used to clean here together. But our queen is distracted. She is waving the broom around, fascinated by how light the wood is, probably wondering if it would make a good spear. Jiziek explains that this room is actually the bullies' VIP lounge. We get a flashback to the good old days where the cool kids smoked in here while Jiziek swept up their cigarette butts and got beaten up for breathing too loudly. And where are the teachers, you ask? Oh, they know. In the flashback, a teacher screams at Jiziek about the fire hazard and orders him to clean it again, completely ignoring the fact that students are treating the school like a smoky dive bar. The incompetence of the faculty in this webtoon truly deserves its own award category. Back in the present, Jiziek realizes Dae-jin is not listening to his tragic backstory at all. Instead, she is revolutionizing the sport of cleaning. She is using the broom like a golf club to smack footballs directly into the basket with terrifying accuracy. Jiziek watches her, thinking that maybe being stuck here with her isn't so bad, and hopes this is his chance to finally become friends. Our girl declares she is truly trying all sorts of new experiences, calling herself the greatest sportswoman in Joseon, while wielding a dust sweeper. Meanwhile, out in the hallway, Siyun is walking to practice when he notices that Songa is alone today. He spots the Tier 2 crew, the girls who want to take over, looking very determined and whispering that Songa is finished. But then, Siyun overhears something even more interesting. Yoo-jun, the matchmaker from Hell, is on the phone, confirming that she wants to see the guy in person and that he should go to the gym storage. Siyun pauses. He knows the storage room is being cleaned right now. He remembers Yoo-jun plotting to set the princess up with someone and realizes that if Yoo-jun is involved, this is definitely a trap. He hears Yoo-jun tell the person on the phone to check if she even has a phone, which is a very specific instruction for a blind date. Outside, Songa is having a lovely conversation with Snowball the cat, asking if he is hungry again. Suddenly, 3 shadows appear over her. It is the Tier 2 crew, led by Zamingu, who greets her by calling her a piece of sh*t. It seems everyone wants a piece of the queen bee today. Back in the gym storage, our girl has finished her work. She sweeps the last of the dust, declaring that she has cleaned so thoroughly that not even the Queen of Fleas could find a spot to settle. She turns to ask Jiziek if he is alright, but she finds him trembling on the floor, stuttering in fear. The door has opened, and a new group of delinquents has entered. A guy is grabbing poor Jiziek by the collar, asking if he is serious. Meet Hong Kong, the 11th grade ringleader candidate. It looks like the storage room is about to get messy again. The scene shifts to a white car where the lilac-haired schemer is hiding behind a face mask. He remembers seeing the princess, aka the pink-haired player, kissing a girl earlier, and his little hamster wheel of a brain connects the dots. He assumes the girl involved was dating Hong Kong, the terrifying 11th grader, and decides to stir the pot. He texts Hong Kong, telling him to head to the gym storage immediately because the clown who messed up with his girl is there. He snickers, thinking Han is going to absolutely destroy the princess, calling it a taste of justice. Satisfied with his chaotic matchmaking, he decides to prioritize what truly matters, his skin. He tells his mom he needs to switch dermatologists because a future boy band center cannot just get treatments anywhere. The vanity is truly blinding. Meanwhile, back in the gym storage room, the vibe is less spa day and more imminent death. Hong Kong, the 11th grade ringleader candidate, is gripping our poor nerd by the collar. One of the lackeys tries to be the voice of reason, pointing out that these are just the cleaning crew and probably not the ones who cheated on him. Hong Kong throws the nerd to the ground, veins popping, furious that the punk, the princess, isn't there yet. He wonders if the guy chickened out. The lackeys, instead of being intimidated, start gossiping like they are at a sleepover. They discuss the princess's secret to getting girls, wondering if it is his sincerity or just his ridiculous face. One guy claims girls go wild just making eye contact with him. Speaking of eye contact, our queen has heard enough. She interrupts their little romance book club with a command, "Put out your cigarettes." The bullies are shocked. Did the cleaning lady just give them an order? She tells them to get out. The nerd, proving he has a death wish or a heart of gold, tries to step in. He tells Dae-jin to leave, terrified because he knows Hong Kong is next in line for the throne and is absolutely lethal. Hong Kong approaches, claiming he is in a foul mood and wants to smash everything. And here comes the classic toxic masculinity line. He says a real man doesn't hit girls. The nerd apologizes profusely, promising to clean up, and Hong Kong agrees to let him, but not before deciding to use him as a punching bag by proxy. He punches the nerd so hard his glasses fly off. As the poor boy tumbles to the floor, Hong Kong mocks him for wiggling and steps on his glasses, crushing them. He calls him disgusting for being a nerd, which is rich coming from a guy whose personality is anger issues. One of the lackeys jokes that Han should go easy or he might stunt the kid's growth. Another bully starts flexing, thanking his mom for his natural gains. Hong Kong leans in close to our queen, explaining that if she walks out of line, her friend gets hurt instead. He turns to his buddies, lamenting that kids these days have no fear. But he makes the fatal mistake of turning his back on royalty. Daejin cuts him off, saying, "Actually, I don't," and launches herself into the air. She is holding the broom like a spear, ready to deliver divine punishment from above. While our queen is about to commit a felony with cleaning equipment, we shift to the outdoor drama. Songa, the blonde psycho, is still dealing with the Muji middle school trio. The girl in the colorful shirt, So-min, greets her with a friendly, "You piece of sh*t." Songa stares at her blankly, pretending to process who she is, before hitting her with the "Oh, great to see you, old classmate" routine. She slides her ring off her finger and sets it aside, which is the universal sign for "I am about to throw hands." She asks if So-min forgot their deal to stay out of her sight, and prepares to slap her. But So-min blocks it. She pushes Songa against the wall, pressing her arm against Songa's neck. So-min admits she has been avoiding the alliance meetings out of fear, but now that she sees Songa up close, she realizes the queen bee isn't that special. She declares that Songa is done and threatens to gouge her eyes out. So-min fumbles in her pocket and pulls out a pair of scissors. A bit extreme for a schoolyard fight, but okay. Songa, instead of screaming, starts laughing. She mocks So-min for bringing a weapon for revenge, and then compliments her hair like a total creep. So-min curses at her but is visibly terrified. In her moment of hesitation, she loses her grip on the scissors. Songa, being the absolute psychopath she is, grabs So-min's hand and points the scissors directly at her own eye. She challenges So-min, "Do it. Stab me." So-min tries to pull back, but Songa is holding her in place with terrifying strength. The scissors slip and fall to the ground. So-min screams, asking what the hell she is doing. Songa slaps her across the face, disappointed by the pathetic performance. Songa delivers a brutal monologue, telling So-min she will always be a shadow because she is gutless and broke-ass trash. She puts her ring back on, declaring they are different down to their DNA and advising So-min to stay invisible. But So-min snaps. She starts laughing like a maniac. She says, "F***ck whatever. I know all about your precious DNA. You really are different from us, aren't you?" She giggles, but Songa's expression goes from mean girl to serial killer instantly. Her eyes dart to the scissors on the ground as she asks So-min what she means by that. It seems the DNA comment hit a nerve. Finally, we see Si-in, the uniform guy, sprinting through the hallway like he is late for a flight. He is thinking about the 3 girls who went to jump Songa and Yujun's shady phone call about the gym storage. He realizes he left the sheep in the wolf's den and rushes to intervene. "Run, mad dog, run." We are back on the ground with our favorite punching bag, Jizyuk. He is currently having an existential crisis, realizing he has never been strong a single day in his life. He introduces himself to the floor tiles, accepting his fate as a loser and an errand boy. But inside his head, it is a different story. He flashes back to his sweet mom hugging him and calling him my prince. She tells him he is the most amazing person in the whole world. Oh, the tragedy. If only she knew that at school, her prince is basically a human footstool. He remembers a delightful memory where the ginger-haired bully used his face as a coloring book, drawing on him and forcing him to call him master. The bully slapped him for not laughing, teaching him that servants must always keep a cheerful face. Seriously, does this school not have a single adult employee? Is the principal a potted plant? Back in the grim reality, Jizyuk realizes that even without the usual suspects, there is an endless supply of jerks waiting to take a swing at him. He is tumbling on the floor while the bullies roast him for being a weakling and a disgusting nerd. To add injury to insult, Hong Kong steps on his glasses, crushing them. Jizyuk is crying, frantically fumbling around blindly because he cannot see a thing. He realizes this is his 3rd pair of glasses this year and wonders how he is going to explain this to his mom. At this point, Jizyuk, maybe invest in contacts. Or a helmet. Suddenly, Hong Kong gets right in our queen's face. He asks if she saw what just happened, threatening that if she steps out of line, her friend gets hurt instead. He turns to his lackeys, shaking his head and saying kids these days have no fear. But our girl has had enough of his monologue. She interrupts him with a calm, "Actually, I don't," and launches herself into the air like a heat-seeking missile. She swings the broom with monstrous force, aiming to crack his skull. Jizyuk watches in horror, asking why she keeps giving him hope when he is too scared to use it. Hong Kong barely manages to dodge at the last second, admitting she actually caught him off guard. The other bullies are scandalized. They cannot believe a 10th grader had the audacity to attack them while they were peacefully smoking illegal cigarettes. Hong Kong is furious. He yells at them to shut up, complaining that girls never listen. He drops his cigarette and decides it is time for a lesson. He repeats his "I don't hit girls" mantra, which is basically code for "I am going to beat up the defenseless nerd instead." He aims a punch at Jizyuk. Jizyuk closes his eyes, ready to accept his fate, but our queen intervenes. She grabs Jizyuk by the neck, not exactly gentle, but we move and suggests, how about you hit him this time? Jizyuk is confused and terrified, thinking no way. But he doesn't have a choice. Daejin physically maneuvers him like a puppet, pulling him out of the way of Han Kang's punch. Han Kang is shocked that the nerd dodged, but before he can process it, our girl warns Jizyuk that a kick is coming. She yanks Jizyuk by the collar again, dodging the kick. She tells him to relax and wait for it. It is like a violent dance lesson. She pulls him around one last attack and shouts, now. Han Kang is baffled by her speed, and in that split second of confusion, Jizyuk's hand flies out. He actually slaps the bully. Okay, it was a weak, non-damaging slap that looked more like a caress, but it counts. Immediately, Jizyuk starts sweating and trembling, regretting his life choices. Han Kang is enraged, winding up a punch and screaming, you little. But our queen steps in and delivers a real hit, kicking the bully square in the face. The other bullies scream, you're dead, bitch, and rush her. Jizyuk begs her to run, saying they can't take on 3 of them. But our girl stands her ground. She declares, I cannot. We have more trash to clean up here. The cleaning lady has spoken. We shift scenes to the outdoor drama, where Somin is laughing like a maniac. She thinks she has rattled Sangha with that comment about her mom. Her friends are confused, wondering if they won, and then they start laughing too, because peer pressure is a powerful drug. Somin doubles down, saying Sangha is nothing like them, down to her DNA. She warns Sangha to watch her back. But Sangha cuts her off with a terrifyingly calm question. Somin, you've heard me? Somin thinks she really got under Sangha's skin and decides to quit while she is ahead. She calls Sangha a weirdo and beckons her squad to leave, planning to gossip about Sangha's family secrets at the internet cafe. But Sangha isn't letting them walk away. She notes that Somin just couldn't help crossing the line. She offers some advice. If you're going to hurt someone, you better be ready to risk your own life. Somin turns around, confused, just in time to see Sangha sprinting at her with scissors. Sangha tackles her to the ground, strangling her with one hand. Somin screams for help, but her friends are too petrified by the look in Sangha's eyes to move. Sangha reminds Somin of their little secret regarding the next time they met. She slides the scissors towards Somin's hand, complimenting her pretty fingers. Somin screams in terror, pulling her hand away as Sangha starts stabbing the ground right between her fingers. Sangha plays a game of 5-finger fillet on the pavement, missing Somin's flesh by millimeters as the girl dodges for her life. Sangha smiles like a true psychopath and asks if she is scared. She muses that it might be a waste to throw her life away for someone as pathetic as Somin. She decides it is getting boring and raises the scissors for a final strike, telling Somin to consider herself lucky if Sangha's face is the last thing she sees. Just as the blonde psycho is about to deliver the final blow and turn a high school rivalry into a true crime documentary, a hand grabs her wrist shouting, stop. It is Cian, the uniform guy, panting like he just ran a marathon to save her soul. He turns to the terrified victims, who are probably contemplating transferring schools right now, and tells them to get lost. Then he turns to Sangha with a face full of worry and asks, are you hurt anywhere? Sir? Excuse me? She is the one holding the scissors. That is like asking the iceberg if it got bruised by the Titanic. Sangha looks at him like he is speaking an alien language and asks, am I hurt? Don't you mean Somin? At least she is self-aware. He nags her, reminding her that she promised to walk away if things got messy, clearly terrified that she might get hurt like last time. Sangha is not having this sentimental moment. She slaps his hand away, calls him weak for worrying about the aggressor, and dusts off her shirt like she didn't just play 5-finger fillet on the pavement. She coldly commands, let's go, my father is waiting, and starts walking away. Cian follows, because of course he does, but he pauses to look back at the gym storage room. He is spiraling, thinking that the cleanup should be done by now and remembering that Yujun promised not to involve her again. This triggers a dark flashback. We see Cian finding the original version of our girl sitting unconscious on the ground, her blouse unbuttoned. Cian goes into full mad dog mode, glaring at the culprit, the lilac-haired schemer Yujun. Yujun shuffles back, putting his hands up in surrender, trying to say, just listen to me. Cian isn't in a listening mood. He grabs Yujun by the collar, roaring, what the hell did you do to her? Yujun, being the weasel that he is, retorts, what is it to you? Are you her boyfriend or something? Big mistake. Cian slaps him across the face so hard it probably reset his skincare routine. But Yujun just laughs, wiping his lip, and decides to go for a verbal fatality. He mocks Cian, asking if the others know that the school's mad dog is just a mutt on Sangha's leash. He tells Cian, you think living under the same roof makes you special? You're just her guard dog who needs permission to breathe. Cian clenches his fist, but Yujun isn't done. He applies lip balm to his split lip, because priorities, and drops the bomb. Sangha doesn't like you. She told me herself. To her, you're nothing but her emotional trash can. That hits a nerve. Cian punches the wall right next to Yujun's expensive face, putting a crater in the concrete. He tells Yoojun to get lost before he messes him up for real. As Yoojun scampers away, Siyun looks back at the unconscious girl, cursing that piece of it *T. Back in the present, Siyun is walking next to Sangha, deep in thought when she notices that it is raining. Siyun immediately snaps out of it, agreeing, and covers her head with his hand to shield her from the water because she hates getting wet. Even after she treats him like dirt, the guard dog instincts are strong. Meanwhile, walking in the opposite direction toward the gym, we see the pink-haired princess singing cheerfully to himself. He arrives at the gym storage door and grabs the handle. But then his toxic player brain kicks in. He decides to let go, thinking mischievously, maybe not. Maybe I should keep her on edge a little longer. We take a detour down memory lane to a snowy day in the Joseon era, where a tiny, fierce version of our queen is begging her father to teach her the secret to being the absolute best. Her father hits her with the classic know your enemy and know yourself speech, warning her that she isn't ready just because she beat up some trainees. He lays down the 4 pillars of combat. Mastering the body's movements is the key to victory. We see our girl sparring with a swordsman, mentally checking off these principles. She uses courage to hold her ground and strength to push back his blade. She tries for precision, aiming for a strike, but misses by a hair. And finally speed, where she succeeds, but loses her hair ribbon to her opponent's blade. Her father's voice echoes, telling her to keep these 4 principles close to her heart. Snap back to 2024, inside the dirty gym storage room. Jizyuk, the trembling nerd, has just slapped the bully, Hong Kong. Our queen looks at him and mentally checks off the first box, courage. Now it is her turn. She declares that strength is her greatest asset and proves it by kicking Hong Kong directly in the face. Hong Kong, clearly not a fan of facial reconstruction surgery, asks if she thinks this is funny. His minions decide to rush her, screaming generic villain lines like, "You're dead, bitch." Our girl doesn't panic. She grabs a cleaning tool and uses the wooden handle to block a punch. She analyzes her attacker, strong, but lacks technique. She punches him square in the face. Another goon grabs her from behind, shouting that he has her trapped. Our queen sighs. She notes that while his grip is strong, he is painfully slow. She reverses the broom handle and smacks him in the head without even looking back. Multitasking at its finest. Hong Kong, realizing his minions are useless, grabs a bat and charges at her, cursing up a storm. He swings wildly, smashing a wooden box into splinters, but our girl dodges every strike. She analyzes him and admits he is actually solid all around. Hong Kong, frustrated that he can't hit a high school girl with a bat, asks who the hell she is. She replies with the most main character energy possible, "I am the very best." She realizes Hong Kong has strength but lacks precision, so she improvises. She grabs a handful of chalk dust from the broken box and blows it right into his eyes. Dirty fighting? Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. Hong Kong flails around blindly, screaming at his loser friends to help him. Our queen takes advantage of his lack of vision and delivers a devastating kick to his stomach. She grabs him by the collar and delivers a new decree. Ranks don't mean a thing in this storage room. She is the one in charge of cleaning up the trash today. She raises her fist, threatening that if he ever hurts an innocent person again, she will teach him exactly where he stands. Just as she is about to deliver the final blow, the door creaks open. It is the princess. The pink-haired player enters holding an umbrella and a plastic bag, looking like he just stepped out of a romance K-drama. He strikes a pose and asks, "Did I keep you waiting?" He explains he was late because he stopped to buy snacks. Our queen stares at him, utterly confused. "Read the room, buddy. We are in the middle of an execution here." Meanwhile, miles away in a sleek black car, Sian, the uniform guy, is riding with Sangha and his father, who is driving. The father is weirdly happy that Siyun skipped training, because it means he gets to see his son's face for once. He mentions it is raining and asks if they brought umbrellas. Siyun says no, but his mind is elsewhere. He's pulled into a heartbreaking flashback involving the original Daejin. In the memory, she wakes up with his jacket wrapped around her. She thanks him, admitting it is the first time she has had a real conversation in ages. But then she drops the truth bomb. She tells him she knows he only helps her to protect Sangha's reputation, not because he cares about her. She begs him to stop saving her. Why? Because she likes him, and his kindness is only hurting her more. She asks him to promise not to help her again, and the Siyun of the past agreed. Back in the present, Siyun is tortured by this memory. He realizes he cannot keep that promise. He tells his father to stop the car immediately. His dad is confused, asking if he forgot something. Sangha surprisingly covers for him. She coldly tells the driver to stop, claiming he left something at school. Siyun grabs an umbrella and sprints back toward the school building, leaving his dignity and dry clothes behind. Sangha watches him go, staring out the window and muttering, "What a shitty day. Even the villain is having a bad time." We shift focus to the inner workings of Han Kang's mind, and honestly, it is a mess in there. He prides himself on being a top contender for the school's ringleader spot, but beneath that tough exterior lies a man who is absolutely down bad. We flash back to a scene with Hanol, the girl who was busy sucking face with the princess earlier. Hong Kong approaches her while she is smoking, and he is fully prepared to throw away his rank, his reputation, and his dignity just to be with her. When she tells him they are from different worlds, he dramatically offers to give it all up in a heartbeat. Hanul looks at him with a predatory glint in her eyes, grabs his face, and asks if he is willing to be her toy. And this man, this supposed alpha fighter, actually agrees to it. The bar is on the floor, and he brought a shovel. Back in the present, Hong Kong is being humbled by our queen, who has him by the collar. He is spiraling, furious that after all his hard work to win over Hanul, she is off with some pretty boy, and he is currently getting sucker punched by a 10th grade girl. Our girl raises her hand, ready to deliver a final lesson on why he should never hurt innocent people again. Hong Kong prepares to take the hit, humiliated that he is being bested by a girl. But before the fist connects, the door creaks open. The pink-haired princess enters, holding an umbrella and a plastic bag like he just popped out for a convenience store run. He flashes a dazzling smile and asks if he kept them waiting. Hong Kong analyzes the newcomer and immediately clocks him as the pretty boy who stole his girl. He screams an insult that would usually get censored, but the princess just walks in calmly, noting the tension in the room. Our queen is baffled, wondering why this guy is crashing her cleaning session. Hong Kong demands to know where Hanul is, accusing the princess of being a player. The princess just laughs it off, lecturing the bully on his vocabulary. He claims girls hate vulgar words and that Hanul prefers gentle guys, which is basically pouring salt in the wound. Hong Kong is trembling with rage, ready to explode. The princess coolly explains that he only bought 2 cups of instant noodles, implying he doesn't have enough to share with the angry mob. Then he pivots, grabbing our queen by the wrist and declaring that he already has plans with her. Daejin is confused, mainly because she definitely did not agree to a noodle date. He tries to pull her away, saying let's go, but our girl has a strong work ethic. She plants her feet and refuses to leave, insisting she still has trash to clean up. The princess sighs, whispering for her to just play along, but Daejin is stubborn. Hong Kong realizes they are making a fool of him and orders his minions to grab them. The bullies charge forward. Daejin warns the princess to step back because it is dangerous, but the princess has other plans. He smiles at her, admitting that he absolutely refuses to fight because he cannot risk messing up his beautiful face. He cheerfully hugs her, asking if she likes rainy days. Before she can answer, he snaps the umbrella open inside the room, using it as a shield. He declares that fighting is all about having the right tools. Then, he grabs a bottle of cleaning fluid and splashes it directly at the charging bullies. Hong Kong and his minions scream as the mystery liquid hits them, shouting that it stinks. Chemical warfare in a high school gym? This guy plays dirty, and it is effective. The princess smiles, satisfied with his work, and grabs Daejin's hand again. He apologizes for the wait and bolts out the door, dragging our confused queen with him. Just as they make their escape, Xian, the mad dog, arrives at the storage room. He is seconds too late. He sees the door burst open and tries to grab Daejin as she runs past, shouting her name. But he misses her arm and only manages to snag her hair ribbon. He stands there in the rain, left with nothing but a piece of fabric in his clenched fist, looking like the tragic lead in a drama. Meanwhile, the princess and the queen are sprinting through the rain. They finally stop to catch their breath, leaning against a wall in a hidden alley. Daejin asks if he is alright and why those guys were waiting for him. The princess shushes her with a playful finger to his lips, claiming he can't help being so popular that even guys want a piece of him. He leans in close, whispering that people in movies always get caught when they let their guard down. Daejin stares at him, completely missing the flirtatious cue. She goes up on her tiptoes to whisper back, looking incredibly serious. She asks him a question that has been weighing on her mind. How did a princess end up in a man's body? She genuinely believes that, like her, he is a royal soul trapped in a modern body because of his nickname. The princess stares at her for a second, then bursts out laughing and blushing, thinking she is just being adorably weird. Oh, the misunderstandings are just beginning. The pink-haired princess bursts out laughing at Daejin's question. He leans against the wall, striking a pose, and clarifies that he is definitely not a girl inside a man's body. In fact, he claims to be as manly as they come. Daejin accepts this new information but immediately pivots because she has a much more important question on her mind. Cut to a convenience store, where the burning question is revealed to be about instant noodles. The princess buys her a cup of ramen, treating her like she has never seen food before. He gives her a masterclass on cooking it, demonstrating the complex technique of holding the lid down with chopsticks. He tells her they just need to wait 3 minutes and decides to use this time for an interrogation. He asks where she got that monstrous strength and why she talks like she just walked out of a historical drama. Daejin tells him to speak freely, but she is not listening to a word he says. Her entire brain capacity is dedicated to counting down the seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, ensuring her noodles are perfectly al dente. She vaguely replies that it is too hard to explain, mostly because she wants him to stop talking so she can eat. The princess decides her mysterious vibe is actually cute and assumes she was just hiding her strength to catch people off guard, which he thinks is cheating but adorable. He reaches out to tuck her hair behind her ear, trying to have a romantic moment. But our queen has no time for romance. The 3 minutes are up. She lunges for the noodles. However, tragedy strikes. Because Cian, the mad dog, stole her hair ribbon earlier, her hair keeps falling into her soup. She mentally scolds the uniform guy for showing up and causing trouble, regretting that she did not bring her loyal nerd servant, Jizyuk, to handle these menial tasks for her. The princess notices her struggle and steps in to save the day. With a hair tie in his mouth, he gathers her hair, bragging that having 2 older sisters made him an expert at this. He ties it up into a messy bun and tells her she is all done. Our queen catches her reflection in the window and is genuinely impressed. She concludes that in a past life, this boy must have been a legendary courtesan who made countless men weep with his skills. While she happily slurps her ramen, the princess watches her, poking her cheek and wondering why Yujun hates someone this adorable. He is clearly charmed, completely unaware that she thinks he used to be a professional seductress. We shift scenes to a luxury bathroom where Songa, the blonde psycho, is soaking in a tub and reflecting on the past. We flash back 2 years to Muji Middle School. Even back then, Songa was the main character. Girls whispered about her celebrity looks, debating whether she took weird supplements or was just naturally skinny. They marveled that she had followers despite not even using social media. But of course, there is always a hater. Enter Somin, the girl from the recent scissor incident. In the past, she was just as bitter, mocking Songa for finally getting online and calling her suspicious. Her friends defend Songa, mentioning she ranks 3rd in the whole school, but Somin is having none of it. Somin claims to know a dirty secret she heard from her mother. She tells the group that Songa's mom worked at a sleazy bar flirting with men. The jealousy is radiating off her in waves. She decides to confront the queen bee directly. Somin walks up to Songa, taps her on the shoulder, and loudly asks if her mother taught her those tricks to get guys to like her. The classroom goes quiet. Songa pauses, absorbing the insult. She does not scream. She does not cry. She simply looks at Somin and issues a terrifying command. To the roof. Now. Class is in session and the lesson is pain. Somin finds herself standing on the roof, which is the universal high school location for bad things are about to happen. She is fuming because Songa dragged her up here and then proceeded to ignore her for 10 minutes straight just to smoke. Somin is sweating bullets in the sun, terrified of getting a breakout, while marveling at how Songa's skin remains flawless despite her nicotine habit. Life is truly unfair. Songa finally speaks, telling Somin to continue her little story because it was entertaining. Somin decides to double down on her death wish. She assumes Songa brought her up here to keep the mom worked at a bar rumor quiet. Emboldened by her own delusion, Somin clenches her fist and delivers an ultimatum. Starting tomorrow, Songa will be her personal maid. She demands snacks, lunch delivery, and total obedience in exchange for keeping her mouth shut. She thinks she is doing Songa a favor. Oh honey. Songa trembles and Somin smirks, thinking she has rattled the queen bee. She turns to leave, declaring, "We're done, I'm out." But Songa calls her back. Songa asks if Somin has any clue how many people like her she has dealt with. She tosses her cigarette and drops a lore bomb that sounds like the plot of a generic action movie. She claims she was kidnapped at 7 because she was too pretty to resist, and then grabbed off the street later by creeps wanting her grandpa's money. According to her, being rich and beautiful makes her fair game. She asks Somin if she can even imagine that level of drama. Somin, rightfully confused, asks what her point is. Songa laughs, a chilling sound, and asks what Somin thinks happened to those kidnappers. She implies they aren't alive anymore and mocks the idea of a victim worrying about her captors. She warns Somin not to give her a reason to worry about her, because Somin is the type who practically begs for trouble. Somin starts to realize she might be in over her head. Songa decides to be generous and share a secret since Somin was brave enough to show up. She reveals that her mom died giving birth to her, so the bar hostess rumor is dead on arrival. She whispers that Somin is the only one who knows this, making it their little secret. Then, Songa gets creepy. She touches Somin's hair, complimenting how soft it is. Somin freaks out, slapping Songa's hand away and trying to leave. But Songa isn't done. She grabs Somin by the ponytail and says, "I told you my secret, so you owe me something too." Somin screams for her to let go, but Songa just says, "Next time is real," and snip. With a single motion of the scissors she apparently had on hand, Songa chops off Somin's ponytail. Somin stares in horror at her beautiful hair lying on the floor. Songa casually warns that if Somin acts like they are equals again, she will cut off something else. Back in the present, Songa looks at her ring, reminiscing about that moment. She compares Somin to Daejin, noting that at least our queen was interesting and had a mind of her own. She flashes back to the original Daejin, broken and beaten on the floor, still pleading with Songa to stop because this isn't who you are. Songa laughs at the memory while relaxing in her bathtub, completely unbothered by her villainy. The scene shifts to Yujun, the lilac-haired idol wannabe, who is humiliating himself by doing a TikTok dance challenge. He is trying to convince himself that everything is fine and that Hong Kong probably destroyed the princess by now. He kicks his camera setup in frustration, complaining that he can't even eat fried food because of his diet. Suddenly, His phone buzzes with a notification that ruins his life. It is a message from his CEO announcing that Manhwa, the princess, has been cast in a drama directed by the legendary John Bong. It is the perfect promo before his debut. Yoojun spirals. He screams, "Acting? John Bong? F***CK. He has a flashback to hearing people praise the princess's flawless face, realizing that the guy didn't get a single scratch in the fight. Yoojun is furious. He calls his CEO, screaming about betrayal. He claims things were supposed to happen in order, and that he was the one prepared to act, while the princess can't act to save his life. The CEO hits him with a brutal reality check. He asks what Yoojun has that is better than the princess. Yoojun claims he has more followers, but the CEO shuts him down, saying that is only because the princess doesn't use social media. Then comes the knockout blow. The CEO tells Yoojun, "Your looks are average, your challenges are average. Mediocre nobodies never get anywhere in this industry." He adds that they don't even need his dad's money anymore because his sponsorship is nothing special. He hangs up, leaving Yoojun frozen in devastation. Yoojun collapses, sobbing and screaming that he won't let them get away with this. It seems the plan B just went up in smoke. Our girl is staring at the small, rectangular device in her hand like it is an alien artifact. It feels heavy, and she admits she has never seen anything quite like this before. The pink-haired princess, who is currently recovering from the chaos with a bowl of instant noodles, leans over and casually suggests she should hand it over so he can save his number. He flashes a charming grin, telling her she will need his contact information so she can rescue him next time and buy him ramyeon as a treat. He even invites her to his place, claiming he makes a killer ramyeon. That is clearly a pickup line, but our Joseon queen has very specific priorities. She looks him dead in the eye and asks the most important question of all. Does he put eggs in his ramyeon? When he confirms that he does, she decides she might make an exception for this princess because anyone who respects the sanctity of an egg cannot be all bad. The scene shifts back to the school, where our girl is presenting her new treasure to Seon. She explains she found something similar on her desk and decided to bring it along. Seon takes the phone from her hand, looking annoyed, and points out that if she had a phone this whole time, she could have at least called to say thank you for yesterday. Our girl is baffled. She wonders what exactly she is supposed to be thanking him for. Is he expecting gratitude for returning her hair ribbon? While she is busy being confused, she suddenly remembers the mess she left behind. She realizes she completely trashed the gym storage room while teaching those bullies a lesson in manners. Panic sets in. She tells him she needs to hurry back and check on the carnage. But Seon stops her. He nonchalantly mentions that he already cleaned it up and did everything himself. Our girl looks at him annoyed. She thinks about how he is always hovering around and insists she does not require his help. But deep down, her royal honor code kicks in. She realizes she is indebted to him once more. She laughs awkwardly, thanking him, but internally she is seething because she truly does not wish to owe this man a single thing. Seon, ever the opportunist, tells her that if she is that grateful, she can buy him a snack. Next thing we know, we are in the garden for a very low-budget date. Our girl has bought a double popsicle, the kind you have to split in half. She is struggling to break it, twisting and turning it with zero success. Seon watches her struggle and asks if she is broke, wondering why she only bought one to share. Our girl is offended. She thinks to herself that she needs to save the rest of her money to buy jerky, because protein is essential for a warrior. She tries to break the popsicle again, but it refuses to yield. Seon sighs, takes it from her, and snaps it easily. However, the split is tragically uneven. One side is a tiny quarter, and the other is a massive chunk. Our girl stares at the pieces, clearly annoyed, trying to calculate which part she will get. But Seon claims he does not like chocolate anyway and takes the smaller piece for himself. Our girl lights up immediately. She happily accepts the larger portion, takes a bite, and declares it truly delightful. She is practically glowing with happiness. Once the sugar rush hits, our girl shows the phone to Seon again and asks if he knows how to use this mystical object. Seon points out that it is locked with a passcode and asks if she knows what it is. Our girl just looks at it and shakes her head in disapproval, as if the technology is personally insulting her. Seon tells her to try and recall a number that really matters to the owner, or perhaps a number that matters to her, and then says he is heading out. As he turns to leave, our girl calls out to him. She asks him if they used to be close, to which he answers that kind of. He tells her that she followed him around all the time, calling her high maintenance and honestly, kind of a pain. He suggests it might be better that she lost her memories after all. Seon leaves, and our girl thinks this is wonderful. She bought him a snack, so the debt is paid. They are done now. She vows not to owe him anything ever again. Watching from the window, we see Sangha. She asks Yoojun where Park's phone is. Yoojun, the lilac-haired schemer, is currently having a meltdown. He slams his fist onto a table, ranting about the pink-haired princess. He is furious that the princess is making his acting debut before him, claiming it makes no sense because there is supposed to be an order to these things. Yoojun complains that they are not even allowed to date or have phones, yet the princess is out there living his best life. He mentions something about the princess dating someone, completely losing his mind over the unfairness of it all. Sangha, who literally could not care less about his idol drama, shows him something on her phone screen. She asks him a chilling question. How much do idols earn more than what your life's worth? Yoojun freezes, sweating bullets. He stammers that this is his whole life and his dream. Sangha looks at him with dead eyes and warns him that if he is not careful, he will end up somewhere shady instead of in the spotlight. She reminds him that he is barely holding his spot in the group as it is. She orders him to pull himself together because midterms are coming up. She tells him to deal with this mess so he can focus on studying. Her final command is simple and terrifying. Bring her the bell around Daejin Park's neck, or bring her Daejin herself. It is his choice. The scene shifts to the Forbidden Lands known as the 12th grade hallway. A sign clearly screams no entry for underclassmen, but Yoojun, our lilac-haired idol wannabe, struts right past it. Apparently, school rules are just suggestions for people with this much hair gel. He is absolutely fuming, cursing Sangha for treating his private life like a tabloid headline. He bites his nails, spiraling into a full villainous monologue. He cannot understand why she is playing four-dimensional chess with Trashcan Park when they could just wipe the alliance clean or force a surrender. He steps into the senior girls' classroom on purpose, but immediately regrets it. The vibe is not High School Musical, it is Shark Tank. He thinks an all-girls class feels way scarier, and he is not wrong. The energy is lethal. The senior girls immediately spot fresh meat. They start gossiping, cooing over the cute 10th grader, and debating if they should bring him in like a stray puppy. But Yoojun ignores the fan club because he has eyes only for one specific predator. We see Hanol, the girl the pink-haired princess was supposedly dating, sitting there and clutching her phone like she wants to crush it into dust. She growls that she smells a guy in here. She has been spamming the princess with angry texts asking where he is and reminding him that she pays him more than anyone else. Yikes. Turns out the princess is a luxury subscription service. Hanol is wondering who the skank is that stole her toy when Yoojun spots her and realizes his plan is in motion. He says hello, and just like that, the two villains start whispering. The enemy of my enemy is my new accomplice, apparently. We cut back to the wholesome side of the school where Ayun, the pink fangirl, is interrogating our queen. She demands to know what Daejin was doing yesterday because she waited ages for their photo booth date. Our girl checks her phone and coolly replies she was busy cleaning up some trash. Technically, beating up bullies is a public service. Daejin invites her along today, but first, she grabs Ayun by the arm and asks for a precious number to crack a phone password. Ayun misses the point entirely and suggests the Rabbit Girl's debut date. Wrong genre, sweetie. Daejin glances at Siyun, wondering if the password is related to her stalker face. Suddenly, Jiseok, the nervous nerd, approaches. He apologizes, asking if he can skip cleaning duty to handle some business. Our queen benevolently waves him off. Jiseok thanks her for saving his life yesterday, and Daejin smiles like a gracious ruler. But we know better. Jiseok is not skipping work to play video games. He walks into a dark alley. Someone asks why he called him out. Jiseok stammers that he has a cleaning routine, but the person waiting is not a friend. It is Yoojun. The lilac-haired weasel grabs Jiseok by the head, sneering. He slaps the poor guy, asking if Han did not hit him hard enough yesterday. He claims the big guy went easy on him, and now Jiseok thinks he is tough just because he survived. Yoojun launches into psychological warfare. He slaps Jiseok again. Seriously, does he have a quota to fill, telling him not to overstep just because he hangs out with Park? He sneers that Daejin does not even see him as a friend. Jiseok trembles but smiles sadly, admitting he knows he is useless, and he knows she will not help him again. Yoojun laughs, loving the misery. He mocks Jiseok for thinking the queen cares about a loser like him now that she has leveled up. He slaps him again, calling him a good-for-nothing coward for coming here alone. Jiseok shakes, but manages to whisper that Daejin will never lose to anyone. Yoojun bursts out laughing. He asks if Jiseok knows who Hanol is. He describes her as Muji's MacGyver, a girl who fights with actual weapons and is even worse than Hong Kong. He warns that Hong Kong is coming for their eyeballs next. Jiseok starts crying, begging for it to stop. Yoojun smirks, calling him a pathetic loser. But inside Jiseok's head, the queen's voice echoes, reminding him that he was born with great courage and proved it himself. Back in the present, Jiseok thinks to himself that he was indeed brave. Yoojun is still yapping, saying Han told him Jiseok could not even take a punch and is not a real man. He asks if he should test that theory. Jiseok snaps. He tells Yoojun to shut up. Yoojun's eye twitches at the audacity. He charges to strike, but Jiseok does not flinch. He shouts back, asking if Han also told him that he hit back. And bam. Jiseok punches Yoojun straight in the face. The nerd has hands. Yoojun holds his precious face, absolutely flabbergasted that the school punching bag actually fought back. He asks if the nerd has lost his mind, but Jiseok admits he is done playing nice. Yoojun's brain starts buffering as he recalls all the times he tormented this poor guy, forcing him to film videos in the bathroom and treating him like a literal piece of furniture. He remembers writing servant on Jiseok's face and demanding a smile, which is honestly psychopathic behavior. But instead of reflecting on his sins, the lilac-haired idol wannabe gets angry. He grabs Jiseok by the collar and demands to know what he told our queen about the past. We get a flashback revealing that Yoojun explicitly ordered the ginger bully to keep Jiseok away from the gym that day, so he could be alone with the original Daejin. Yoojun leans in and whispers the grossest confession of the year. He admits he had fun with her while she was unconscious, talking about taming her and how good she smelled. Someone call the police or at least a therapist, because this guy is officially a monster. Jiseok realizes this guy is beyond redemption. He spits right in Yoojun's expensive face and shoves him away, declaring that if no one else will protect her, he will do it himself. Yoojun laughs, thinking he can humiliate the nerd again, and yanks Jiseok's pants down. But surprise! Jiseok is wearing gym shorts underneath. He has been pantsed so many times he started layering up. Yoojun, furious that his prank failed, swings a punch at Jiseok's face, shattering his glasses. But Jiseok just smirks. He pulls off the broken frames to reveal another pair of glasses underneath. This boy came prepared with backup eyewear. He is literally bulletproof. Meanwhile, back at the gym, our queen is stuck cleaning alone because the men in her life are useless. She is debating abandoning her post for ice cream when a new challenger approaches. It is Hanol, the senior girl who is dating the pink-haired princess. She acts all shy and sweet, asking what is going on between our girl and the princess. Our innocent queen, who has zero knowledge of modern slang, casually mentions that they ate ramen together. Siyun's eyes practically pop out of his skull. Apparently, in this era, eating ramen is code for something very different than just enjoying noodles. Hanol drops to her knees, sobbing and begging our girl to break it off, because she and the princess share something special. Our queen, assuming they are just talking about soup, tries to comfort her. She reaches out to help the crying girl up, but suddenly, Hanol's grip tightens like a vice. Our girl realizes this crying maiden has the grip strength of a gorilla. Hanol drops the act instantly. She wraps her phone cord around our queen's neck and tightens it, asking if she is deaf. She calls our girl a bitch and starts strangling her, proving that the crazy eyes run in the family. Our queen is baffled, wondering why no one told her that the senior class is full of homicidal maniacs. Back in the alleyway, the lilac-haired idol wannabe is laughing maniacally because apparently, he thinks he is in a low-budget villain origin movie. He turns to Jiseok, the nerd who just punched him, and offers a despicable bargain. He tells Jiseok to leave, but adds a condition. If Jiseok brings him Daejin's phone, he will take his name off the servant list. Jiseok is trembling, his fist clenched in pure rage. He asks if Yoojun really thinks our queen is going to lose to some girl. Yoojun smiles with the confidence of a man who has never been hit by a bus and says Jiseok has no clue who he is dealing with. He explains that Hanol, the girl currently strangling our heroine, is known as Crocodile Hanol. Usually, she is lazier than a corpse, but once she spots prey, she snaps. She uses fake tears to lower her opponent's guard and then strikes with unbelievable strength. We cut back to the gym, where Hanol is proving his point by trying to squeeze the life out of our girl. She coughs, confused by this unladylike hugging, asking what on earth this is. Hanol dashes forward like a devil, jumping on top of her and initiating a crocodile death roll. Yoojun's narration explains that once she locks on, it is game over. Our queen is struggling. She realizes that Hanol's leg strength is formidable and admits that she has never seen this technique before. It is called jujitsu, your majesty, and it is very annoying. Hanol grins, telling her to spit out every memory she has of the pink-haired princess. Watching from the sidelines is Siyun, the uniform guy. He spots the phone Hanol dropped during the scuffle and quietly picks it up, probably wondering why his life involves babysitting these violent children. Meanwhile, our queen decides that if you cannot beat them, copy them. She thinks, very well, I shall simply imitate her. As they grapple, with Hanol thinking she might actually kill her, our girl asks the most important question of the fight. What sort of ramen do you favor? Priorities, people. Hanol is offended. She screams that the princess bought Daejin the most delightful ramen, which makes her furious because that cheapskate never pays for anything when he is with her. So, this entire deathmatch is over a bowl of soup? Hanol charges again, but our girl catches her and executes a perfect suplex. Daejin decides to try out the move she just learned. She pins Hanol down and asks if she is doing it correctly and if it hurts. Hanol immediately starts tapping out, trembling and crying, begging her to stop because she is going to die. Our queen, being a noble soul, is confused. She wonders why this girl is so fragile and loosens her grip. Big mistake. Hanol stops crying instantly, reveals the crocodile tears, and sneers, fooled you again. She wasn't unconscious at all. She grabs our girl and throws her, aiming to smash her into the hard floor. But suddenly, a gym mattress slides underneath our queen, cushioning her fall. Siyun to the rescue. He slid it there just in time. Hanol immediately jumps on top of Daejin again, and our girl asks what this technique is called. Jujitsu mount position. Daejin looks at Siyun confused, asking why he is here. Siyun claims he only stepped in because if she gets hurt, he and Jiseok will have to do all the cleaning themselves. He asks if she wants help. Our queen's pride is taller than the school building. She declares, I do not require your assistance. Siyun turns around, saying fine, but warns her that if she stays in that position for 10 more seconds, she is going to pass out. Our girl decides that passing out is not on today's agenda. She tells him that will not happen, grabs Hanul by the shoulder, spins her around, and presses her elbow directly into the girl's chin. She counts down, 3 more 5, and puts the crocodile to sleep. Daejin stands up, dusts herself off, and tells Siyun that since she did the cleaning all by herself, he must buy her an ice cream. She really knows how to negotiate. But the drama isn't over. Behind her, Hanul wakes up. And this time she has a knife. She lunges, but our girl dodges. Hanul looks at Siyun and creepily asks, "So, is this the man I smell?" She implies she is going to stab him instead. Siyun is unbothered, probably used to psychopaths by now. Just as Hanul is about to strike Siyun, our queen rushes in and grabs her from behind to save him. But Hanul laughs maniacally. "Fooled you again, huh?" The attack on Siyun was just a feint. She spins around in Daejin's arms, aiming the knife right at our girl. This girl has more plot twists than a soap opera. Our queen is not impressed by this cheap jump scare. She dodges the attack with the grace of a ballerina and looks at the knife like it is a toy. She grabs Hanul's wrist and decides to give a free lecture on weapons handling, telling her, "That is not how you use a knife. I will show you the proper way." Daejin admits that the hardest part of this fight isn't the technique, it is the restraint. She laments that her greatest challenge is being gentle with these children, so she doesn't accidentally send them to the afterlife. With a sigh of resignation, she disarms Hanul, hits her in the chest with her palm, and delivers a knee to the chin. She calculates the force perfectly to knock her out without killing her, because murder is so messy on a school transcript. Just like that, the crocodile is out cold for good. With the threat neutralized, our girl turns to Siyun and immediately demands her reward. "It seems you'll be treating me to ice cream after all." Siyun looks confused, but then his eyes drift down and he instantly turns beet red. It turns out Hanul's knife did manage to slice something, our queen's shirt. Siyun, being the gentleman and prude that he is, takes off his jumper and hands it to her, mentally scolding her for being so reckless. Our girl just fidgets with the fabric, probably wondering why modern clothes are so flimsy. Suddenly, Jizyuk comes sprinting toward them, panting and asking if they are okay. Daejin looks at him and points out that he claimed he had important business, yet here he is. Siyun is more concerned with Jizyuk's disheveled outfit, but the nerd is just relieved they are alive. Our girl seizes the moment and grins, declaring, "Let us grab some ice cream together." Siyun tries to protest that he never agreed to treat both of them, but Jizyuk steps up. He offers to pay, suggesting they get iced Americanos. Our queen stares at him blankly. "What on earth is that?" she asks. Cut to the 3 of them holding plastic cups. Daejin is staring at the dark liquid suspiciously, while Jizyuk happily sips away. Siyun assures her it isn't poison, which is exactly what someone feeding you poison would say. He explains it is just bitter and cool, warning her that it might keep her up at night. Our girl takes a sip and has a philosophical breakthrough. She notes it has a bitter start but a sweet finish. She decides that she prefers this to a strong poison that claims my life, finding it fascinating that this drink is meant to ward off sleep. While she contemplates the caffeine, Siyun warns Jizyuk about Hanul, calling her Muji's MacGyver because she crafts weapons. He tells Jizyuk to stick close to Daejin from now on because she has no fear and is a real warrior. Daejin sips her coffee and agrees. "Yes, stay by my side. I am indeed a true warrior." Jizyuk practically cries with gratitude, calling her Your Highness. Jizyuk heads off to cramp school because the grind never stops. Siyun asks if she has cracked the phone password yet, and when she says no, he suggests she just reset the device. After all, she has amnesia, right? But our girl refuses. She looks at the phone and says she feels like erasing the data would be disrespecting the life of the girl who used to own this body. She is determined to find out what memories are hidden inside. As they walk, a guy on a motorbike zooms past and tries to snatch the phone right out of her hand. But Siyun's reflexes are insane. He saves her and the phone in one smooth move. He scolds her for not watching where she is going and abruptly says he is heading the other way. Our girl stands at the bus stop, watching him walk away. She clutches the phone and remembers all the times he has called her high maintenance or a pain, yet he has saved her every single time. The bus arrives, but she ignores it. She realizes she needs to ask him something. She screams his name and runs after him. Siyun stops and turns around, asking why she is calling him. Daejin catches up, breathless, and drops the million-dollar question. "Did I like you?" She is asking about the original Daejin's feelings. Siyun looks away, unable to meet her eyes, and quietly admits, "I would say you did." Our queen looks at him, blushes, and smiles with genuine relief. "I'm glad I liked you," she says. Our queen finally cracks the code. She holds the phone up to Siyun and demands the digits. Cut to her bedroom later that night, where she enters the password. It opens instantly. The passcode was Siyun's birthday. Our girl sighs, realizing the original owner of this body must have liked the mad dog so much she used his birth date to secure her deepest secrets. That is tragically romantic, or maybe just a little bit stalkerish. She starts scrolling through the gallery. At first, it is just photos of that black cat, Snowball. Just a bunch of cute, harmless kitty content. But then she finds a video file that looks different. Curious, she presses play, and suddenly, we're thrown 3 months into the past. The video is dark and shaky. The original Daejin is cleaning up a mess alone because Jiseok, the nerd, couldn't make it. She finds a ticket left on top of a drink and, being too trusting for her own good, she takes a sip. Big mistake. The lilac-haired idol wannabe, Yoojun, emerges from the shadows, licking his teeth like he is auditioning for a low-budget vampire movie. He mocks her for having no sense of caution, pointing out that she drank it without hesitation even after being bullied. The original Daejin realizes too late that she has been drugged. She starts trembling, but in a moment of sheer genius, she switches her phone to video mode and discreetly throws it to the side to record everything. Yoojun looms over her, asking if she wants to date him, claiming it would be an upgrade from being a servant. He is absolutely vile. Daejin begs him to stop, but he bites her ear, gross, and tells her to relax because he is not that bad. She tries to crawl away, shouting for help, but the drugs kick in. She feels heavy, unable to move, and eventually passes out. Yoojun, seeing her unconscious, opens her shirt and says, "Already out cold? Perfect." Snap back to the present. We are in the school hallway. Jiseok is staring at his phone, thumb hovering over the upload button. Yoojun sneaks up behind him and smacks him, asking if he brought the phone. He mocks Jiseok, calling him a coward and noting that he looks too fine for someone who should have been beaten up. But Jiseok doesn't flinch this time. He looks Yoojun dead in the eye and says, "I am not a coward anymore." Yoojun is frustrated, ignoring the character development, and demands the phone, reminding Jiseok that he has a beating scheduled with Hong Kong later. But then the atmosphere shifts. Students around them start whispering, "Isn't that Yoojun? Is this real?" He is totally screwed now. Someone calls him a disgusting piece of trash and questions how an idol trainee could do something like this. Yoojun starts sweating. He looks around asking, "How much does it show?" He assumes they are talking about the assault on Daejin. He grabs Jiseok, screaming that it doesn't matter, asking how much got uploaded. He realizes the trash can must have recorded him back then. Yoojun watches the video on Jiseok's phone in horror. He thinks about the laws regarding sexual assault and uploading non-consensual content, terrified that his career is over. He prays that it didn't go too far. And then, the video reveals the twist of the century. In the recording, Yoojun is hovering over the unconscious Daejin, ready to enjoy himself. But suddenly, he stops. He looks at her with zero interest and says, "I can't do this. There is nothing about this that excites me." He pulls back muttering, "I guess girls just aren't for me. I thought I'd at least give it a shot." He pulls out his own phone, and the camera captures his lock screen. It is a picture of him with another guy, followed by a text that says, "I miss you. I love you. Seohan." So the lilac-haired schemer isn't just a villain. He is a villain who drugged a girl just to test if he was straight. He failed the test, but thankfully, our girl was spared the worst of it. The lilac-haired idol wannabe is sprinting down the hallway, sweating bullets. He realizes the video of his failed assault has been uploaded without his permission, which is ironic considering he never asked for permission to assault anyone. He is spiraling, praying that it wasn't Daejin who posted it, but let's be real, karma has his address now. We flash back 30 minutes to see how this PR nightmare began. Our queen shows the incriminating video to Jiseok. The nerd watches it, trembling with rage, and vows to never forgive Yoojun. He tells Daejin to leave it to him because he wants to help. Jiseok picks up the phone and decides to give Yoojun exactly what he always wanted, fame. He uploads the clip, and within minutes, Yoojun hits #1 on the trending searches, beating out Old Mala Soup and Today's Lunch. Congratulations, you are officially more viral than Soup. Back in the present, Yoojun storms into the gym, screaming Daejin's name like a lunatic. He is furious, claiming the video was edited to make him look like a pervert. Buddy, the raw footage was bad enough. He declares that someone is going to die today, which is a very poor choice of words when dealing with a Joseon warrior. Suddenly, our queen descends from above like a vengeful spider. She has rigged a hanger and loops it around his neck, hoisting him into the air. She informs him that since class starts soon, she is skipping the trial. She casually mentions that in her time, rapists were simply hanged to death, implying he should be grateful she is in a good mood. Yoojun is choking, gasping that this is attempted murder. He pulls out his phone, trying to record her and threatening to call his daddy to send her to jail. Our queen is unimpressed. She muses that the world has become too soft if prisoners are allowed to live so comfortably. She decides to revoke his phone privileges and smashes the device with her bare hand. Yoojun drops to his knees, sobbing and begging. He tries the absolute worst defense in legal history. "I'm not even into girls. I tried but I stopped, so I didn't actually do it." He really thinks failing to commit the crime because of performance issues makes him innocent. Our queen asks if he is curious how failed offenders were punished in her era. Yoojun tries to bribe her, saying his rich parents will pay a settlement since her family is poor. Daejin picks up a baseball bat and announces the verdict: flogging and exile. Yoojun screams that he accepts the exile and will transfer schools immediately, begging to skip the flogging part. But the judge has spoken. She tells him the law requires a thrashing first. She generously starts the count at 60 strikes but promises not to go over 100. She swings the bat, smacking him on the back. Yoojun screams that he is going to die after just 2 hits. Our queen tells him to shut up because he is making her lose count, and orders him to stick out his butt for the next swing. Class is dismissed, but the discipline has just begun. The beatdown continues. The schemer is screaming, demanding to know who put her up to this. He suspects Sangha betrayed him because she is the only one who had the leverage, but our queen ignores his paranoid ramblings. She tells him that his silence does not matter because she is no longer fighting alone. She has companions now. She reminds him he still has 45 strikes left, but class is starting, so she will offer him a recess. She leaves him broken, bleeding, and crying for his mommy. And speak of the devil, his mommy arrives. We cut to the chairman's office, where the schemer's mother is putting on a masterclass in denial. She is screaming at the chairman, furious that her precious baby boy was beaten. The chairman tries to calm her down, offering her a trendy collagen drink to distract her. She ignores the beverage and demands a disciplinary hearing immediately, threatening to ruin our queen's future. The schemer is sitting there, traumatized, wondering if he should tell them the truth. He realizes that the video Jizyuk uploaded was edited to protect the victim's identity, so his face is clearly visible, but the victim is blurred. He wonders if he should be relieved. His mother, completely delusional, claims the video is fake. She accuses the school of circulating rumors about her son. She even suggests that the drink in the video was just a sleeping aid because her son is stressed. The chairman points out that sleeping pills require a prescription and that drugging a classmate is a felony. The mother drops her cup, shattered. She accuses the chairman of calling her son a drug dealer. She insists her son is a promising young idol who would never do such a thing. The chairman finally loses his patience. He shows her the unedited CCTV footage from the gym storage room. The mother watches her son assault an unconscious girl and goes silent. The chairman suggests they settle this quietly for everyone's sake. The mother, realizing she has no ground to stand on, grabs her bag and her son, declaring that she will handle it. As they leave, the schemer is crying, begging to go home. In the car, the mother's tune changes. She tells him he is transferring schools. The schemer is horrified, asking how he can face people after this humiliation. His mother, in a true display of toxic parenting, tells him to get over it. She compares his sex crime scandal to scraping a knee on the playground. She even suggests that this scandal might boost his popularity when he debuts, because he can go for a relatable image. Relatable? Lady, your moral compass is broken. The schemer finally breaks down. He tells her he is terrified of our queen, calling her a monster. He asks what his dad, the scary military man, will do when he finds out. The mother grips the steering wheel, realizing that if her husband hears about this, he will probably shave the boy's head and enlist him immediately. Meanwhile, back at school, the students are buzzing. They notice that despite the schemer looking like he went through a meat grinder, our queen does not have a single scratch on her. Jizyuk watches her, realizing she has taken down the schemer and the cheetah. Now, only the final boss remains, Sangha. We take a trip down memory lane to 6 months ago, a simpler time when our original Daejin thought she had actually made a friend. She is hugging Sangha, posing for a selfie and beaming like a ray of sunshine. She confesses that Sangha is her very first friend since transferring, unaware that she is hugging a literal viper. Sangha, playing the part of the concerned bestie, asks why Daejin transferred schools instead of going somewhere local where she knew people. Daejin hesitates, looking at a picture of her parents on her phone. Sangha's inner monologue immediately jumps to the worst conclusions. Was she bullied? Did she get into a fight? But Daejin drops the truth bomb. Her father passed away in a hit-and-run last year. She explains that her mom opened a Jajangmyeon restaurant near the high school to start fresh. Daejin proudly calls her mom a master of noodles and invites Sangha to come eat. But Sangha? She is internally rolling her eyes so hard it hurts. She thinks master is too fancy a title for someone making black bean noodles. She glances down at Daejin's worn-out sneakers, calculating that they cost less than $30, and decides right then and there that this girl is beneath her. But to Daejin's face, she is all smiles, saying she is glad they are partners for the group project. Watching from a nearby bench is Yoojun, the lilac-haired idol wannabe. He is confused why Sangha is acting like she doesn't know him. We get a flashback within a flashback where Sangha explicitly orders Yoojun to pretend they are strangers because she finds it entertaining to have someone at school who doesn't know she is the chairman's granddaughter. It is basically a twisted social experiment for her. But Yoojun realizes the truth isn't just entertainment. It is jealousy. It turns out our sweet, noodle-loving Daejin actually took first place in the midterms, knocking Sangha down to second. And for the blonde psycho, second place is the first loser. We shift to Yoojun's house, where the parenting style can best be described as toxic with a chance of violence. Yoojun's dad is ranting about the chairman and how greedy rich people are, while pressuring Yoojun to study harder. But back in the present, the atmosphere is much darker. Someone, Sangha, has placed a phone on a table, deciding she has had enough of her pawns. She thinks, "You can have those losers, but first place is mine," and demands the clippers. Cut to Jun getting the beating of a lifetime from his father. His mom tries to intervene, but only because she is worried about his face. You know, his moneymaker. But Dad isn't stopping. He reveals that Chairman Choi personally contacted him about transferring Yoojun to a different school because covering for him has become too much of a hassle. The momager panics, realizing the chairman knows everything. She tries to argue, but the dad pulls out an electric shaver. He screams that he raised Yoojun to be a man and drops a horrific line, "I thought you were cured. I thought you were fixed." Yikes. It seems Yoojun's treatment for being gay didn't work, and Dad is furious. Yoojun begs and cries, screaming that he won't go back there, likely referring to some military school or conversion camp. But his dad shows no mercy and shaves his head, destroying his idol image in seconds. And because the universe hates Yoojun today, his phone buzzes. It is a text from Babe, his boyfriend. He saw the articles about Yoojun getting kicked out and decides to dump him by a text. Who should end the story? Sorry. Brutal. No hair, no school, no boyfriend. Finally, we see the mastermind behind it all. The chairman confronts Songa, accusing her of sacrificing Yoojun to save herself. He compares her to a lizard cutting off its tail to escape a predator. He asks who she is so afraid of that she would go to these lengths. Songa smiles, completely unbothered. She counters with her own animal metaphor. She says looking at him reminds her of a cuckoo bird, a parasite that never builds its own nest but lays its eggs in others. The chairman just bursts out laughing, because apparently, ruthlessness runs in the family DNA. We end with a shot of Yoojun in his bed, sporting a buzz cut and trembling in fear. He mutters that he isn't ill and that he is perfectly fine, terrified of whatever cure his father has planned next. The villain has been dismantled, but it is a grim sight to behold. Back at the mansion, the blonde psycho Songa is sitting at her desk, digging through the archives of her betrayal. She pulls out a reference book from last semester and shakes it, causing 3 letters to fall out: pink, green, and blue. She picks up the pink one, and we are transported 5 months into the past. We find the original Daejin and Songa at a study cafe. Songa, ever the manipulator, refuses to help with a math problem until she hits the bathroom. While Daejin is away, Songa spots the pink letter tucked in her book and reads it without a shred of hesitation, because privacy is apparently just a suggestion to her. When Daejin returns, blushing and denying she is going to see Siyun, Songa drops the bomb. She admits she saw the letter and demands it. She claims she sees Siyun every day and is pretty close to him, so she offers to deliver it herself. That is the oldest trick in the Mean Girls handbook, and our poor innocent Daejin falls for it completely. Daejin hands it over, worried that a handwritten letter is too serious or cheesy. Songa, lying through her teeth, assures her that Siyun is actually into cheesy stuff. But then she immediately pivots to gaslighting, asking what Daejin even likes about him. She calls Siyun boring, saying all he does is work out and go home, and claims he is definitely not boyfriend material. Jealousy is a disease, Songa. Get well soon. Daejin defends him, saying he is cool and nice. She reminds Songa of a promise. Songa said she wanted to see Daejin fall in love, so this time, she has to help make it happen. Songa smiles and promises to pass the letter on. Spoiler alert, she definitely did not. We see a heartbreaking scene of the original Daejin sitting on a bench in the pouring rain, holding a gift, waiting for a boy who never showed up because he never got the message. She thinks, "You told me to meet you here, so I am here waiting." It is tragic. She got stood up by a ghost. Back in the present, Siyun is in his bedroom, having a crisis over our queen's recent confession. He replays her saying, "I'm glad I liked you," and starts overanalyzing everything. He thinks it is unbelievable that she used his birthday as her password for months, but now acts like he is irrelevant. He chuckles to himself, clearly catching feelings. But the moment is ruined because we see Songa spying on him through the crack in the door like a literal creep. Seriously, does this girl ever sleep, or does she just haunt the hallways? The scene shifts to the school cafeteria, where a war is raging. Our queen is currently fighting for her life in the snack line. She declares this a fierce battle because she missed breakfast and needs carbohydrates immediately. She pushes through the crowd, warning people to get out of her way, laser-focused on the bread. Just as she reaches for her prize, a hand appears behind her. It is Siyun. He casually tells the cashier to ring it up together and scolds our girl, pointing out they only have an hour until lunch, yet she is eating again. The man is paying for her snacks while complaining about her appetite. That is true romance. Meanwhile, in the classroom, the pink-haired princess is causing a stir. The girls are whispering about how gorgeous he is, asking for selfies. But the princess ignores them because he is in his own little world. He bought a chocolate drink and is fidgeting with it, fantasizing about Daejin's reaction. He imagines her declaring chocolate superior to that bitter Americano Siyun bought her. He turns around, excited to see her enter the room, but his smile is about to drop because she is definitely not alone. The aftermath of the Yoojun incident has left the school buzzing with rumors. The students are whispering that the lilac-haired idol wannabe got kicked out of his trainee group and might be fleeing abroad to escape the shame. But our queen? She isn't relieved. She is annoyed. She does the math and realizes Yujun is absent today, which is a tragedy because she still had 45 strikes of the bat set aside for him. That is a debt left unpaid, and she hates loose ends. Her thoughts are interrupted by a distress call. Jiziak and Ayun are stuck in the cafeteria crowd, screaming that it is too late for them and she should go on without them. It is literally just a line for snacks, but they are acting like it is the Titanic. Our girl shakes her head at their weakness. She commands them to wait because she will clear the path. She dashes toward the cafeteria with the intensity of a general charging into battle, declaring that she must utilize her strength to secure the goods. But in her haste, she crashes right into someone. It is Songa, the blonde psycho. Songa picks up our girl's phone, which slid across the floor, and hands it back with a cold, "I'm fine." As Songa walks away, our queen stares at her back. She remembers Jiziak telling her that this girl is the one calling the shots and the one behind all the bullying. Our girl narrows her eyes, thinking, "So you are the ringleader. I'm keeping my eye on you." Back in the classroom, Sion, the uniform guy, tries to make casual conversation. He asks what time she came to school today. Our girl looks at him blankly, asking, "What time was it?" Siyun sighs, realizing he is talking to a wall, and decides to be useful instead. He pokes a straw into her juice box for her. Our queen watches this simple mechanical action and is absolutely mesmerized, exclaiming, "So that is how it is used." She can dismantle a gang of bullies, but a juice box is apparently high-tech wizardry. Siyun turns to the window, trying to act cool, and asks what she is doing after school. Our girl replies that she has no plans and is free. She starts rambling about how she finds chocolate far superior to other sweets, clearly hinting that he should buy her more snacks. Siyun starts to mention that he has a match later, likely trying to invite her. But before he can finish his sentence, a wild princess appears. The pink-haired player slides in, interrupting the moment. He gets way too close to our girl and drops the wildest pickup line of the century. He claims he got his tarot read recently, and it said he was a king in a past life. He implies that since she acts like a queen, they must have been married back then. Our girl, who takes everything literally, is just confused because Siyun was in the middle of saying something. The princess ignores Siyun completely and touches our girl, saying he has been thinking about her and worrying that someone might mess with her again. Our queen looks at him and asks if anyone troubles him. She reminds him that she owes him a debt for helping her previously. The princess decides she is too cute and goes for the kill. He invites her to his place after school so they can have some ramyeon and chill. For those who don't know, that is the universal code for let's make out. But our innocent queen just hears noodles. Cut to Siyun at his taekwondo training. He is absolutely losing his mind. He thinks about the ramyeon and chill invite and wonders if he should have warned her not to go. He is seething with jealousy, asking himself, "I know exactly what that bastard is up to." To vent his frustration, he smashes his sparring partner in the face with a brutal head kick. He tries to rationalize his anger, asking himself why he is so worked up. And then he remembers the morning. He saw a pink letter, the one Songa planted, and assumed our queen wrote it for him. He blushes, thinking, "Why would she give me such a cheesy letter out of nowhere?" While he is busy daydreaming about love letters, he gets distracted and eats a kick to the face. The coach yells at him to pay attention. Siyun shakes it off, still worrying that Daejin is currently at the princess's house getting played. But then something catches his eye in the stands. He bursts out laughing. Sitting right there in the audience is our queen. She didn't go to the player's house for ramyeon and chill. Instead, she is sitting next to Jiziak, happily munching on snacks and asking, "What does that taste like? Let us try it." She chose violence and food over romance, and Siyun has never been more relieved. Back in the present, the pink-haired princess is still shooting his shot with the subtlety of a cannon. He drops a wild pickup line, claiming a tarot reading told him he was a king in a past life. Naturally, he assumes that means he and our queen were married back then. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Our queen, who takes everything literally, ignores the romance and focuses on the politics. She asks if anyone is troubling him, offering her services as a debt repayer. The princess decides she is too cute for words and pivots to the classic ramyeon and chill invitation at his place. But just as he's trying to seal the deal, Siyun and Jiziak are plotting in the background. Siyun mentions treating everyone to fried chicken. Our girl freezes. Her internal calculator starts running. Ramyeon at a boy's house versus all-you-can-eat fried chicken paid for by Siyun. The choice is made instantly. She tells the princess she has an important prior engagement and ditches the noodles for the poultry. "Sorry, princess, but you can't compete with free fried chicken." Cut to the stadium, where the vibes are immaculate. The pink fangirl, admits she knows absolutely nothing about sports, but she is vibrating with joy just to be on a date with Daejin. Meanwhile, Jiziak is stressing out, explaining that Siyun's opponent is a master of fake kicks designed to confuse people. Our queen is analyzing the fight like an ESPN commentator. She critiques Siyun's signature spinning back kick, noting that while it's powerful, the windup takes too long and gives the opponent time to react. But Siyun? He doesn't care about physics. He lands the kick perfectly. Daejin is immediately hooked, deciding she needs to learn this flashy move to add to her Josian repertoire. She cheers him on loudly, proving she's the ultimate hype woman. After the match, the crew heads to the chicken joint. Jiseok hesitantly asks if Siyun is really okay paying for everyone since he actually lost the match. Siyun shrugs it off, saying the loss feels refreshing, and his focus was slipping anyway. He tells them to eat up before it's all gone. Then, Siyun drops a heavy truth bomb wrapped in a smile. He admits he's happy they came because, in all his years of competing, no one has ever come to watch him, not even his parents, who are too busy taking care of other people. It's a tragic backstory served with a side of pickled radish. Our queen, who has been demolishing a drumstick like a wood chipper, pauses. Siyun watches her eat and says, "Chicken equals happiness." Daejin repeats it like a sacred mantra, and Ayun coos that it's a lovely expression. The philosophy of poultry has officially bonded them. Meanwhile, back at the mansion of doom, the blonde psycho, Songa, is stress-eating instant ramyeon because exams are coming up. The maid tries to make conversation, mentioning that Siyun is late because he's out with friends and sounded strangely cheerful despite his loss. Songa stops chewing. The air in the room drops 20 degrees. She thinks, friends? That can't be true. Siyun doesn't have friends. He only has me. Her possessiveness is truly next level. She basically thinks she owns the copyright to his social life. Back on the streets, the group disperses. Jiseok thanks Siyun for the meal, but as he walks away, he realizes something suspicious. He notes that Siyun's house is in the opposite direction. That's right, folks, the mad dog is going out of his way just to ride the bus with our queen. On the bus, the chicken coma hits hard. Our queen falls fast asleep, her head landing squarely on Siyun's shoulder. Siyun blushes, asking himself if she was really that tired, but he doesn't move a muscle. He is trapped, and he is absolutely loving it. Back at the mansion, the blonde psycho, Songa, abruptly stands up from the table, leaving her meal almost untouched. The maid is confused, but Songa is too busy being a villain to eat. She retreats to her room and pulls the stolen pink letter from her drawer. We flash to the previous morning at school, where Songa was lurking around Siyun's locker, slipping the letter inside. Her internal monologue is truly toxic. She asks herself if she's worried Daejin will steal Siyun, but immediately dismisses it, claiming Siyun is just someone she dumps her feelings on, nothing more, nothing less. She convinces herself that one little letter won't make him like Daejin, but she hopes that when Siyun inevitably rejects Daejin in her mind, it will break our girl completely. Songa reflects on the fact that emotional pain has always hurt more than physical pain, which explains her entire modus operandi. But her scheming hits a snag when she spots our queen asking Jiseok where Siyun is. Jiseok explains Siyun is at training but should be back. Songa realizes Siyun isn't where he's supposed to be, and she crumbles the paper in her hand, wondering where the hell he is. Meanwhile, we return to the romantic bus ride. Siyun is gazing at our sleeping queen and notices a crumb of food near her mouth. He reaches out to gently clean it off because apparently he is a maid now, but she twitches and wakes up, causing him to panic. Our girl blinks, realizing she fell asleep, while Siyun awkwardly looks out the window, muttering that she was completely out of it. Daejin sighs, thinking she is now indebted to him once again for the shoulder nap. Siyun announces it is his stop and gets up to leave. Our queen, trying to act cool, compliments his fighting skills and suggests they spar sometime. Then, in a display of pure Josian logic, she tries to stand up and exit the bus while it is still moving in the middle of traffic. Physics? Never heard of her. Siyun panics and pulls her back, catching her right in his arms. For the first time in history, our queen blushes. The bus driver yells at them to watch it because it's dangerous, ruining the moment. Daejin stumbles off the bus, awkwardly saying, "See you at school," while Siyun is left standing there, likely wondering how she has survived this long. Our girl sprints home, clutching her chest. She thinks it is terribly hot, blaming the weather for her flushed face. She is mortified that she laid her head on a man's shoulder, something she never did even during military training. She admits he makes her feel restless. But then her mind drifts to the letter. She assumes Siyun seemed ready to talk about the note she left him today. We get a flashback revealing that, earlier that morning, our queen slipped a letter into Siyun's locker herself. It turns out she wrote a thank you note to repay him for the phone and his help, believing she is fulfilling the original Daejin's wish to get close to him. As she runs, she thinks, "I am doing everything I can to fulfill your wish," completely unaware that she is the one falling for him. Back at the mansions, and the uniform guy is lost in a daydream. He is having a full-blown flashback to the bus ride, smiling like a fool as he remembers pulling our queen into his arms. But the romantic montage is abruptly cut short by the fun police. Songa, the blonde psycho, is watching him. She asks what he is smiling about and mentions she heard he lost his match today. Then, in true tsundere fashion, she asks if he waited for her, only to immediately backtrack and claim she only got up because she was hungry and skipped dinner. Sure, January Siyun notices she looks flushed and asks if she has a fever, but Songa ignores his concern to drop a bombshell proposal. She asks him to study abroad with her. She explains that if she gets good grades this semester, her grandpa will give her company shares, and they can use that money to leave as soon as next year. She wants to go leave with her mom and suggests Siyun quit taekwondo to come with her, arguing that he just keeps getting hurt anyway. Imagine telling an Olympic-level athlete, "Hey, quit your lifelong dream to be my emotional support animal in a foreign country." Siyun shuts that down immediately. He interrupts her, firmly stating that Taekwondo is his dream. He tells her to go rest and offers to bring her medicine, trying to de-escalate. But Sangha isn't done spiraling. She brings up the encounter with our queen, saying Daejin bumped into her today and looked her straight in the eye with an innocent face, acting like she forgot everything. Siyun asks if she thinks Daejin is faking it, and Sangha goes full conspiracy theorist. She claims there is no way, and insists Daejin is just messing with her, playing the victim to gain sympathy and steal things from her. The projection is strong with this one. Siyun snaps. He grabs Sangha by the arms and tells her to stop, defending our queen by saying Daejin has been through enough. But he underestimates his own strength, or maybe Sangha overestimates her fragility, because she winces in pain. Siyun immediately lets go, asking if she is okay, but Sangha plays her ace card. She looks at him with betrayed eyes and says, "You promised you would protect me." Cue the sepia filter, because we are flashing back to their childhood. We see a young Siyun and his parents standing outside a massive mansion in the cold. His mom tells him they will be living here from now on and instructs him to be nice to the girl his age inside because she grew up lonely. Siyun asks why, and his mom says she just needs a friend, calling him a brave young man who needs to look out for her. Then we see the business transaction behind this friendship. Siyun's parents are thanking Chairman Choi for taking them in, revealing that their financial situation almost forced Siyun to quit Taekwondo. The chairman, benevolent overlord that he is, says it is nothing because he considers Siyun family. But then comes the catch. He mentions his granddaughter is frail and asks for one thing in return. Siyun must stay by Sangha's side, tasting her food for poison and protecting her from danger. He laughs, saying it was common for boys to do such things back in his day. So, basically, he bought a child bodyguard. Time skips forward a few years. Sangha is tending to her flowers while Siyun hovers nearby. She asks him if he thinks she is pretty, admitting she knows she is, but calls him rude for staring. She asks why he is following her around. Young Siyun bluntly replies that his mom told him to protect her. Sangha turns away, blushing, and tells him to do what you want. And just like that, Siyun was hooked, happy to have a purpose. Back in the present, the toxicity has matured like fine wine. Sangha gives him a brutal ultimatum. It is your choice. You can either leave this room or stay in this house with me. She reminds him that if he leaves, the financial support and his Taekwondo career is gone. Siyun tries to reason with her, asking if she remembers her grandfather's request to protect her if she was ever in danger. Sangha looks him dead in the eye and says, "Well, I am in danger right now. So do what you want." She is equating her jealousy over a boy to actual physical danger. Siyun looks at her and still sees the lonely child from the past, trapped by her own manipulation. Siyun listens to Sangha's possessive rant and simply says, "Don't worry, whatever you are thinking, that's not gonna happen." Sangha takes this as reassurance that he will never leave her, thinking, "I know Siyun will never betray me." She reasons that he has nothing but the little room in her house and relies entirely on her grandfather's support. She is confident because she believes she owns him. We flash back to 5 years ago, where Sangha is chatting with her friends. They tease her about Siyun, asking if he is her personal bodyguard since he follows her everywhere. They bring up the time he saved her at a crosswalk, practically appearing out of nowhere. Sangha just grins and brags. It's obvious. He's got a thing for me. The delusion starts early, folks. Jump forward to a more recent memory. Teenager Sangha is confronting Siyun. She asks him point blank, "You like me, right?" Before he can answer, she shuts him down, saying he can like her all he wants but shouldn't make it obvious because it makes her uncomfortable. Siyun grabs her hand and retorts, "Is uncomfortable the only thing you feel? Dear job. Stop crossing the line." Sangha is baffled. She thinks she might have made him too obedient for too long. In another scene, Siyun is hovering while Sangha is with a boyfriend. Her boyfriend complains that Siyun makes him uncomfortable. Sangha dismisses Siyun, telling him to leave because he is boring her. She treats him like a toy she can pick up and drop at will. Back in the present, Sangha wonders why Siyun's resistance is irritating her so much. She asks herself, "Am I feeling something new because you've suddenly stopped being predictable? No way, I can't let that happen." At breakfast, Siyun refuses to eat. Sangha thinks having feelings for a guard dog doesn't make any sense. When Siyun declines the meal, saying he has training, Sangha's inner monologue goes full villain. A garden dog shouldn't wag its tail at anyone but its owner. "You need to stay loyal to me." She convinces herself this is just a passing crisis and that she will come out stronger, becoming the perfect adult her grandfather wants. We see a memory of her crying to her grandpa, begging to live with her mom. He tells her she can leave only if she climbs to the top. This girl is basically running on trauma and ambition. Sangha stares at our queen in the classroom thinking, "Someone like you isn't gonna slow me down." She remembers asking the original Daejin about her dream job. Daejin wanted to be a cop to find her father's killer. Sangha laughed, calling it a small dream for the top student and suggesting she just hire a hitman for $5,000. Daejin was horrified, saying she wants the culprit to pay while they are still alive. Sangha found that interesting at the time, but now she just thinks Daejin is a fake who disgusts her. She recalls begging Daejin to intentionally fail a few questions on the finals so Sangha could take first place. She even offered to pay her or have her grandpa guarantee her a spot in the police academy. But Daejin refused, wanting to compete, fair and square. Sangha didn't take that well. She slapped Daejin, calling her selfish for not understanding how much grades matter to her. She accused Daejin of wasting her time by pretending to be friends. When Daejin cried, asking to stop, Sangha stepped on her, literally, and declared, "Let's find out if you really desire to call yourself my friend on finals day." Back in the present, the teacher asks if the class representative is here. Sangha raises her hand, claiming the title since she finished first in the finals. But suddenly, a voice interrupts. Wait. Our queen stands up, shining like the sun. She declares, "The position represents this class? If that is so, I wish to reclaim it." She admits her memory is fuzzy but is certain she would never surrender what is rightfully hers. She grins and says, "As you know, power is something I cannot resist. I am well experienced and more than qualified. I wish to resume my role as the class representative." The queen is back to claim her throne. And that's the end for today's recap. If you had fun, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Your support keeps the recaps coming. Choose your next binge. At the top is a crowd pleaser, and the bottom is the latest chaos drop. Thanks for watching. Stay comfy, keep your popcorn ready, and I'll see you in the next one. Our girl takes a quiet moment to process the absolute tragedy of the body she is currently renting. The original owner was a sweet, hardworking 17-year-old who lost her father early, held her grieving mother together, and could not even walk past a stray cat without offering community service. Our girl wonders why such a pure soul, who chased her dreams despite constant hardship, was hit with a permanent life suspension. She is equally baffled as to why she, a ruthless warlord, was drafted to take her place. Her internal investigation is interrupted when she finds a strange piece of paper. Her mother steps in and explains it is a certificate from when she ranked first in school and snatched the title of class representative. Her mother reminisces about how proud she was, noting they even visited her father's grave to flex the achievement. But her mother quickly shifts gears, adding that seeing her daughter breathing and healthy is the only thing that matters now. Academic ranks and fancy titles mean absolutely nothing to her anymore. The gears in our girl's head start turning. If she was the class representative, that makes her the undisputed leader of the classroom. Yet, her own subjects bullied her into the afterlife. Our girl does the math and realizes someone was clearly threatened by her authority. The classroom lackeys would never have moved without orders, and the rest of the peasants just looked the other way to save their own skins. This was not just a case of simple bullying. This was a highly orchestrated, deliberate dethronement. Back in the present, our girl mentally sentences the whole classroom for high treason against a righteous ruler. She vows to reclaim her rightful throne, punish the traitors, and restore law and order. Out in the hallway, the teacher announces her presence, but our girl is already making her move. She stands up, slams her hands onto her desk, and firmly announces her intention to take back her title. The peanut gallery immediately starts whispering. They think she has completely lost her mind, noting that while she used to hold the crown, it belongs to the blonde psycho now. They mutter that just because our girl suddenly knows how to throw a punch does not mean she can boss them around. Our girl swiftly clarifies that she is dropping an absolute mandate, not asking for volunteers. The pink-haired fangirl watches the drama unfold, secretly agreeing that our girl has a solid claim but heavily doubting the blonde psycho will go down without a fight. Right on cue, our girl declares she will represent the class and dictate all the rules from today onward. The blonde psycho stands up, dripping with fake sympathy. She condescendingly tells our girl that she understands why losing the perks of the position might feel unfair, especially with her missing memories. But then she twists the knife. She demands to know how someone with amnesia could possibly serve the class when she herself knows every single detail about their classmates' private family lives. She calls our girl selfish and loudly blames her for the recent spike in classroom casualties. She reminds everyone that one lackey is currently enjoying a hospital bed and another has vanished into thin air, casually hinting that anyone in the room could be next on the chopping block. The crowd starts murmuring in a state of pure panic. Instead of matching the screaming match, our girl drops some classic literature. She recites a gloomy poem about an exhausted old ox whose throat is raw from years of labor, yet its master continues to crack the whip even when the work is done. In the background, the glasses nerd immediately recognizes the verses as The Lament of the Ox, a historical piece about a queen suffering under a tyrant. He realizes our girl is dropping high-tier metaphors about her own tragic life. The blonde psycho decides to close the distance, pulling our girl into a tight hug that looks sweet from the outside but is actually a targeted venom delivery system. She whispers that she showed mercy by not boiling her alive earlier, and this rebellion is a terrible way to say thank you. She demands our girl drop to her knees and beg for mercy, calling her a vile wench. Our girl's response is swift and entirely physical. She completely bypasses the begging and grabs the blonde psycho firmly by the neck. The psycho just grins like a certified menace. Meanwhile, the teacher is having a full-blown panic attack and sprints to the chairman's office to report the violence. The chairman, however, is looking incredibly unbothered. He waves off the attempted strangulation as simple childhood conflict, casually instructing the panicked teacher to just make sure the kids learn how to compete fairly. The blonde psycho gasps for air, branding our girl a disgusting hypocrite for fighting evil with evil. The pink-haired fangirl watches the chaos unfold in a state of sheer panic, completely clueless on how to de-escalate the situation. Our girl simply glares, mentally preparing to send the snake to the afterlife herself if she dares to insult the original body owner's name one more time. But before she can deliver a royal execution, Seo bursts onto the scene, aggressively demanding to know what on earth our girl is doing. Taking full advantage of her new audience, the blonde psycho immediately deflates, collapsing into a perfectly timed, dramatic faint. Seo looks incredibly stressed, begging the psycho to wake up before scooping her onto his back to rush her to the nurse's office. Our girl reaches out, utterly derailed by this plot twist, but she is left standing alone in the dust. She takes a quiet moment to process the emotional damage. She has never seen Seo look that genuinely panicked before. She thought they were finally trauma bonding, but now she seriously questions how much he actually understands about the classroom's toxic hierarchy. The teacher walks back in, frantically demanding the room quiet down while confirming the blonde psycho has safely reached the nurse. She heavily sighs, admitting that assigning classroom supremacy based on test scores was a colossal failure. To fix her mess, she announces a real democratic election. Since our girl dominated the midterms and the blonde psycho conquered the finals, they both have a valid claim to the throne. From now on, the class representative will be chosen by a popular vote. The classroom peasants murmur their approval, noting that the blonde psycho has actually been doing a decent job so far. The teacher gives the two candidates a 2-week campaign period to earn the unwavering loyalty of their peers. Later, our girl is chilling at her favorite snack stall. The shop owner asks for her usual order, leaving her alone with her thoughts. She begins pondering the completely foreign concept of a democratic vote. Back in her era, power was simply handed to anyone who could survive the royal exams, and there was no magical system to measure the fickle will of the people. She flashes back to a strategy meeting with her newly formed squad. The glasses nerd had run the terrifying political numbers. Out of 20 students, 17 were eligible voters, meaning she needed 9 votes to claim the crown. Right now, her political party consists of exactly 3 people: herself, the glasses nerd, and the pink-haired fangirl. Seo is currently a wild card, leaving her 6 votes short of a victory. The glasses nerd confidently predicts he can secure 3 votes from the kids they heroically saved during dodgeball. The pink-haired fangirl aggressively agrees, reminding everyone how legendary our girl was on the court that day. The nerd then mentions 2 wildcards from a rival middle school, who might already hate the blonde psycho, though they need to monitor their vibe first before making a move. They bring up the final phantom student, Ayan. The pink-haired fangirl admits she has never even seen the girl's face. She apparently showed up on the first day, treated her desk like a premium mattress, and has been skipping so many classes she is on the fast track to repeating the year. Snapping back to the present, our girl takes a bite of her food, marveling at the fact that ruling the entire Joseon dynasty was significantly easier than campaigning for 20 high schoolers. Her historical reflections are violently interrupted by loud shouting outside. The nervous shop owner whimpers that it sounds like another street brawl. Our girl's eyes instantly lock onto the target, deciding that if people are fighting, they desperately need a physical education lesson. The shop owner nervously spills the tea, explaining his tragic backstory with the local delinquents. He once tried to stop them from smoking outside, but they completely overpowered him. He even called the cops, but the kids smoothly dodged the law by ordering 30 servings of tteokbokki and faking a digital money transfer. Now, they treat his livelihood like their personal, rent-free clubhouse, and he is simply too terrified to stop them. Hearing this absolute disrespect, our girl steps out to assess the situation. She finds a classic alleyway shakedown in progress. The head bully is screaming at a miserable victim for being late with her daily extortion tax. The poor kid is practically in tears, swearing she already paid them twice this week and has younger siblings depending on her to survive. The main bully checks with his lackey, who suddenly develops highly convenient amnesia regarding the payments. Disgusted by the victim's refusal to steal, the main bully slaps her hard across the face, mocking her for trying to legally sell gum instead. He cruelly suggests that if the victim were missing a finger, people might actually pity her enough to buy her product. The desperate victim pulls out a wad of cash, begging them to just take it and leave her alone. The bully casually bites down on the money, holding it in his mouth while pulling out a terrifyingly sharp knife. He demands the victim pick a favorite finger, slowly lowering the blade. But before the knife can do any unauthorized amputations, a massive, lethal wooden skewer comes flying out of nowhere. It snatches the cash straight out of the bully's mouth with sniper precision and firmly pins the money to the brick wall. The bully completely loses his mind, screaming into the void to find out who just threw a lethal projectile at his face. Our girl steps out of the shadows, radiating absolute menace. She casually informs the terrified delinquents that the skewer was entirely complimentary. She then happily calculates their math for them, noting that 30 servings of tteokbokki at 3,000 won each equals a grand total of 90,000 won. Looking like a debt collector sent straight from the underworld, she announces she has officially arrived to collect their unpaid tab. The phantom student stares at our girl's uniform, suddenly recognizing her as the class representative. A memory from 6 months prior hits her. Back then, the original owner of our girl's body had noticed the phantom student sleeping through lunch and kindly left a care package on her desk. Instead of being grateful, the phantom student had mentally labeled the sweet girl a pathetic doormat for caring. Snapping back to the present, she assumes our girl is still the exact same pushover and attempts to quietly sneak away from the alleyway drama. Her escape plan is instantly shattered when the main bully aggressively grabs her by the hair. He is deeply offended that his extortion target is trying to slip away while he is busy dealing with an unexpected interruption. He throws a massive tantrum, accusing the two girls of clowning around for his attention and trying to muscle in on his territory. Waving his extremely sharp knife at our girl, he threatens to permanently revoke her eyesight for daring to demand money from a professional collector on his own turf. Our girl completely ignores the deadly weapon in his hand. She simply demands to know where he thinks he is going, casually bringing up the unpaid tteokbokki tab. She takes his hostile reaction and absolute refusal to pay as a full admission of guilt regarding the stolen snacks. Without missing a single beat, she delivers a single, devastating smack to his face, instantly sending the main bully into a deep, involuntary nap. The remaining delinquents experience a collective system failure. They stare in absolute horror, unable to comprehend how their boss got knocked out before he could even swing his blade. One of the bully girls starts spiraling into a panic attack, frantically wondering if the blonde psycho sent this wooden skewer-wielding monster to violently test their street loyalty. As the main bully snores on the pavement, the phantom student spots his dropped wallet and slowly reaches for it. Our girl immediately intercepts by throwing the discarded knife, planting the blade straight into the concrete mere inches from the girl's hand. The phantom student practically sweats her own body weight in pure terror. Our girl grabs her by the collar, dropping some heavy historical wisdom about how it is always better to take a beating early and get it over with. She firmly orders the trembling girl to pick up the money and return it to its rightful owner immediately. Back at the snack stall, the overjoyed shop owner clutches his recovered cash, marveling at the incredible trouble our girl must have gone through to collect his funds. But our girl's mind is already locked onto her next political objective. Having spotted the school badge on the phantom student's uniform, she knows the girl will eventually have to return to class. There is still an election to win, and she absolutely needs that wildcard vote. Meanwhile, at the local hospital, the previously defeated lackey is being an absolute nightmare of a patient. She aggressively begs the nurse for a discharge pass, practically crawling the walls to leave. The nurse firmly denies the request, reminding her that her extremely intimidating guardian specifically ordered her to stay put so he would not have to drag her back again. To make matters worse, the nurse accuses the lackey of smoking by the emergency exit the night before. The lackey vehemently denies the charge, proudly declaring she quit the habit a whole 30 minutes ago. Her anger management issues aggressively flare up when she hears a quiet chuckle from the hospital bed next to hers. She immediately snaps at the unseen patient behind the partition, loudly threatening a physical altercation. The mysterious roommate smoothly fires back, mocking the lackey for keeping her toxic attitude, even after getting completely wrecked in her last fight. The roommate casually wonders how many more brutal wake-up calls it will take for her to finally learn her lesson. Realizing the voice belongs to the mysterious patient who arrived yesterday and has kept their curtains securely closed, the lackey angrily rips the fabric back. She stares at the person sitting in the bed, her face dropping in absolute shock as she demands to know what they are doing there. The angry lackey aggressively rips back the hospital curtain, fully prepared for a confrontation, only to find a heavily muscled girl named Eugene occupying the next bed. Eugene completely ignores the lackey's hostility, casually noting that hospital food is an absolute tragedy before tossing her a sandwich. She then bluntly asks if the lackey is currently hospitalized because our girl rearranged her face. The lackey fiercely defends her shattered ego, aggressively claiming that gravity and a treacherous flight of stairs were her true enemies. She immediately redirects the interrogation, demanding to know how Eugene ended up in a hospital gown. Eugene vaguely mentions getting hurt during a match, though her own internal monologue strongly disagrees with that official statement. The lackey eyes Eugene's impressive physique and mocks her, pointing out that having muscles is entirely useless if she still gets her butt kicked. She teasingly offers to give the muscular roommate a few fighting lessons, playfully poking at her while Eugene laughs and swats her away. The lighthearted vibe shifts when Eugene pulls out a cigarette and asks the lackey what her plans are once she escapes the medical ward. With a teasing grin, she suggests the lackey will probably just end up delivering junk, exactly like her older brother. Hearing her brother mentioned is the ultimate trigger. The lackey immediately jumps out of bed, declaring she suddenly has somewhere very important to be. The scene shifts to the exterior of a massive, shady building. Inside, a club girl is loudly complaining about her sheer boredom, desperately wishing for something exciting to happen. Right on cue, the angry lackey makes a highly dramatic entrance. She proudly announces her full name, her graduation class, her combat specialty in kicks, and her self-proclaimed street title, the Cheetah, boasting that she can easily take down 10 people by herself. The club girl is highly amused by this intense introduction. She hands the lackey a drink and tells her to relax her aggressively bunched-up shoulders. The lackey defensively insists she is not tense, claiming it is just raw, unadulterated muscle. The club girl casually warns her that if her champion brother finds out she is hanging around this turf, he is going to absolutely lose his mind. She notes that everyone in the underground knows the champion, recalling a terrifying flashback from just a few days prior when he completely trashed the venue, screaming at people to let go of his little sister. The lackey completely brushes off the warning. She rants about how men are always so eager to throw punches over the tiniest disrespect just to look like badasses. She then goes on a deep philosophical tangent, declaring that street fighters are far superior to wealthy elites, because even the richest snobs crumble when faced with the raw fists of people like them. The club girl completely derails the lackey's tough guy momentum by affectionately pinching her cheek, laughing at how adorable she is when she tries to sound like a hardened gangster. Their bonding moment is violently interrupted by a shady boss storming into the room and ordering the lackey to get out. He is absolutely furious because the contact he originally called failed to show up, and the universe sent the champion's little sister instead. He loudly complains about their mother giving them such confusingly similar names, firmly stating he refuses to do any business with her. He admits he is actively avoiding a one-way ticket to the afterlife courtesy of her brother, dramatically declaring he is trying to make it to heaven, not the healthcare system. The lackey completely loses her mind at the constant comparisons to her sibling. Trembling with sheer rage, she screams that the champion is not her brother and offers to physically drain all her own blood right then and there just to mathematically sever their genetic ties. To prove she is completely serious, she snatches up a nearby knife, looking like she is absolutely ready to turn someone into a past tense. The boss stares at her, realizing she has completely lost the plot. Impressed by her unhinged energy, he admits she is definitely wild enough to stand on her own without living off her brother's sweat. He smirks, announcing he actually has the perfect job for her. The lackey smiles back, fully ready to embrace the chaos. Meanwhile, the desperate gum-selling victim is sprinting through the dark streets. She spots a glowing billboard claiming that tomorrow is a brand new day and mentally aggressively disagrees with the sentiment. Staring out at the dark beach, she heavily considers just ending her miserable subscription to life right there, but sadly admits she lacks the guts to go through with it. Her mind shifts to her starving younger siblings waiting at home. She curses our girl's name, crying over the confiscated extortion money that was desperately needed to feed her family. She finally arrives at her front door, calling out to her siblings and holding up some expired convenience store food she scavenged from the trash. But her exhausted smile completely vanishes the second she steps into the living room. Her younger siblings are huddled on the floor in absolute terror. Sitting right there in her home, flashing a menacing greeting, is the angry lackey, entirely ready to execute her brand new job. The story drops into a flashback, revealing exactly how the angry lackey ended up running a hostage situation in a rundown apartment. During her previous meeting with the shady boss, he laid out his twisted business model. He mentioned a specific girl, the desperate gum-selling victim, who had recently borrowed roughly $3.5 grand, allegedly to cover her grandmother's funeral expenses. She had managed to pay off the massive debt with highly suspicious speed, which immediately triggered his predatory curiosity. The boss explained that he sent his goons to stalk her and quickly discovered her secret weapon, two tiny, professional guilt trippers. The memory shifts to show the two younger siblings begging on the street. A well-meaning civilian had tried to intervene, grabbing the young boy's arm and threatening to call the police to help them. The kid had instantly activated panic mode, screaming to be let go before sprinting away into the crowd. Back in the shady club, the boss casually noted that street kids are an absolute goldmine for metro station pity plays. He then dropped the horrific detail that if the kids ever stopped generating enough revenue, he could simply sell them off to the highest bidder. With a terrifying smirk, he asked the lackey if she was morally bankrupt enough to handle the extraction. The flashback then tracks the two siblings standing in the metro station, staring hungrily at a glowing vending machine. The brother suggested they relocate their begging operation to a new station tomorrow, noting that the locals had developed complete immunity to their puppy dog eyes. The little sister fiercely rejected the idea, insisting they stay because rich people frequently pass through the area. The brother instantly called out her bluff. He knew she was secretly clinging to the station because it was the exact spot their mother had abandoned them, and she was still holding out hope for a dramatic family reunion. The sister quietly wondered if their mother would even recognize them now that they had grown a few inches. The brother realistically told her to stop dreaming and focus on survival. Desperately hungry, they decided to just aggressively wait for their older sister to return with dinner. As the siblings headed back to their tragic living situation, the lackey was shown tailing their every move like a highly aggressive shadow. Inside their home, the kids were happily counting their meager coins, plotting an ice cream purchase for the next day. Suddenly, a knock echoed through the room. Assuming their older sister had just forgotten her keys, they happily threw the door open, telling her to come inside. Instead of their sister holding dinner, they found the lackey looming in the doorway. The kids nervously asked who she was, and the lackey bluntly stated her identity was completely above their pay grade. When she demanded to know where their mother was, the kids started vibrating with pure fear, quietly admitting it was just the two of them. The lackey sarcastically announced that it was their lucky day because she was officially their brand new mother, immediately ordering them to pack their bags. The kids were appropriately terrified by this extremely hostile adoption strategy, calling her a creepy brat. Losing her remarkably thin patience, the lackey started aggressively rearranging their home by smashing everything in sight. She screamed at the trembling children to be grateful for their older sister, brutally informing them that she had been drowning in dirty debt and putting her life on the line just to keep them breathing. She barked at them to shut their mouths and comply with the kidnapping. The terrified kids begged to see their older sister one last time before being hauled off. The lackey rolled her eyes and agreed, stating it was the absolute bare minimum they owed her for keeping them alive. The flashback seamlessly crashes into the present moment. The exhausted gum-selling victim walks through her front door, proudly announcing she scavenged some slightly expired convenience store food for dinner. Instead of a happy greeting, she finds the angry lackey sitting perfectly still in her living room, holding her traumatized siblings hostage. The lackey looks up with a sinister smile, casually sliding some paperwork forward and demanding the older sister officially sign over all her legal guardianship rights. The exhausted Geo walks through her front door with a handful of slightly expired convenience store food, calling out to her two little siblings. Dead silence greets her. Confused, she glances around, her anxiety spiking when she notices a figure lurking in the shadows. Trembling, she reaches for a pair of scissors on the table, but the lone shark lackey is significantly faster. The lackey yanks her backward by the hair, completely unimpressed. She mockingly asks what kind of mother feeds her growing kids discarded convenience store scraps instead of a proper meal. Geo grunts in pain, demanding to know who this violent home invader is. Hearing her voice, the lackey pauses, realizing she sounds incredibly familiar. It suddenly clicks that this is the miserable zombie girl from her class. The lackey notes that she looked like absolute roadkill back then too, so she assumed the girl had already dropped dead in a ditch somewhere. While the lackey enjoys her villainous realization, Geo spots her two little siblings huddled in the corner, crying their eyes out. Panicking, she tries to break free, aggressively warning the lackey not to lay a single finger on them. Unfazed, the lackey orders her to shut her mouth and delivers a brutal slap across the face, asking if now is really the time to play the protective mother. Pinning Geo's head to the floor, the lackey coldly asks if she understands how compound interest works for people who borrow money and fail to pay it back. Even just breathing racks up debt. Geo desperately shouts that she only borrowed 5 million won and already paid it back, arguing that a 3 million won interest charge is purely evil. The lackey happily corrects her math, informing her that the total is actually 32 million won as of today. However, the lackey offers a generous alternative, stating their boss is willing to wipe the slate clean if she simply hands over the two little kids. Geo starts sweating bullets. She begs the lackey to spare them, crying that they are her family and just innocent children. The lackey taps her finger against Geo's head, calling her completely pathetic. She slaps her again, declaring a deep, personal hatred for people who act tough but lack the guts to just end their own misery. The lackey starts violently kicking her, mocking her for thinking she was somehow special just because she grew up poor like everyone else. As the lackey delivers the beatdown, her mind flashes back to the absolute physical humiliation she recently suffered at the hands of our girl. Her face twists with rage. Laughing like an absolute maniac, she screams that seeing this miserable girl is forcing her to remember that psycho. Needing an outlet for her trauma, the lackey grabs a nearby chair, fully intending to beat Geo into the afterlife. She casually mentions that usually, people rack up interest even after death, but she is handing out this one-way ticket for free. Before the chair can connect, a tiny voice stops her. The older sibling, Sandal, steps forward holding a signed contract, tears streaming down his face. He bravely declares that he and his younger sibling are going to live with the lackey now. Geo desperately calls out his name, completely devastated. The lackey lowers the chair, sarcastically cooing over how hungry the kids must be to follow a total stranger. Geo, utterly powerless, asks if this monster has even a shred of human sympathy left. In response, the lackey kicks her directly in the face, asking if a physical demonstration will help her understand the situation. She mocks her for being dumber than she looks, officially dubbing her a mindless zombie. Geo begs Sandal not to go, promising she will fix everything and make sure they never miss another meal. But Sandal is clearly the smart one in the family. Knowing his sister will be beaten to death if they stay, he swallows his tears and coldly lies. He claims he is sick and tired of eating convenience store leftovers and states they were never a real family anyway. With that crushing blow, Sandal and his younger sibling follow the lackey out the door, leaving Geo trembling on her knees. She repeats that this isn't right, staring hopelessly at a small memorial bowl containing her mother's remains, begging the ashes to say something helpful. Sometime later, Geo regains consciousness, realizing she must have passed out on the floor. Panic sets in instantly. She scrambles up, screaming the names of her missing siblings to an empty room. Suddenly, a cheerful knock echoes from the front door. She demands to know who is there, only to open it and find our girl standing outside, brightly suggesting they head to school together. Geo immediately slams the door right in her face, wondering if the class rep has completely lost her mind. Undeterred, our girl politely mentions that the early bird catches the worm and smoothly opens the door herself. Pushed to her absolute limit, Geo screams, asking if our girl is into her or just wants to extort money too. Completely ignoring the hostility, our girl holds up Geo's lost name badge. She calmly states she isn't here to steal anything, but just returning the badge, advising her to wear it around her neck so it doesn't get lost again. She enthusiastically suggests they get moving to school. Geo snatches the badge and chucks it away, her patience officially gone. She grabs our girl by the collar, accusing her of living a fairy tale life with zero understanding of real struggle. She demands to know how she even found her house, stating that showing up uninvited is crossing a massive line. Our girl simply blinks, casually stating that as the class rep, it is her job to know absolutely everything. She then holds up a plastic bag full of fresh food. Geo freezes, staring at the bag in utter shock as the pieces fall into place. She realizes this was the exact same person who left bread on her desk 6 months ago. In a quick flash to the past, the original owner of our girl's body secretly leaves pastries and sweet sticky notes on Geo's desk day after day, constantly hoping she will return to school. Snapping back to the present, our girl gets profoundly philosophical. She notes that the darker a human's reality becomes, the more desperately they need to hold on to certain things, like the kindness someone once showed them. Without missing a single beat, our girl grabs Geo by her shirt and smoothly judo throws her straight into the dirt. As Geo groans in pain, entirely bewildered by the sudden violence, our girl retrieves the discarded name badge. Standing over her fallen classmate, she casually asks how she feels now, and more importantly, what she thinks she should do next. Still completely bewildered from being judo thrown into the dirt, Gio stares blankly off to the side, looking entirely defeated. She bitterly wonders aloud what she could possibly do now that she has lost everything, questioning the point of even attending school. She tells our girl that bringing the lost badge and food was a complete waste of time. Completely unfazed by the depressing monologue, our girl shrugs, tucks the badge away, and casually mentions how she waited right in front of the snack shop for 2 straight days. As our girl turns to leave, Gio panics. She grabs our girl by the wrist, snatches her badge back, and demands to know why the class rep is going to such extreme lengths for her. Sometime later, the two of them are sitting on some stairs. Our girl lays out the entire situation, explaining that she lost her class rep title to Choi Sung-ah and desperately needs Gio's vote to steal it back. Gio casually munches on a snack, staring at our girl like she just grew a second head. She asks if our girl is genuinely naive or just heavily invested in miracles, noting that her personality has completely changed, as if she took a solid blow to the skull. Gio cynically points out that the universe doesn't care about broke kids. Miracles require a massive bank account, and Choi Sung-ah is a crazy rich menace who will absolutely buy her way to victory. Naturally, Gio wants to know what her return on investment is. What is in it for her? Our girl stays quiet for a beat. Then, she extends her hand, offering the absolute most valuable currency she has, her friendship. Gio stares at the hand in silence before bursting into a fit of mocking laughter. She roasts the ridiculous idea of a girl living paycheck to paycheck, offering something as useless as friendship. Standing up to leave, Gio firmly states she doesn't care who wears the class rep badge, has zero time to play schoolyard games, and struggles just to keep food on the table. She orders our girl to stop leaving pity bread on her doorknob, dropping the depressing reality check that she is getting evicted next month anyway. But as she finishes her rant, Gio realizes she is talking to thin air. Our girl has already vanished. Blinking in confusion at the abrupt exit, Gio drags herself back inside her empty house, slumping onto the floor in a dark corner. Her mind immediately drifts to her missing siblings. Spotting the scissors on the table, she mentally declares she needs to find them, but her inner demons fight back. She reminds herself of her absolute uselessness, wondering if it wouldn't be easier to just give up entirely. Meanwhile, our girl is casually strolling down the street, plucking petals off a tiny flower like she is trying to predict the weather. She alternates between declaring that Gio is coming and that Gio is not coming. Back at the house, Gio has officially made her choice. She sprints out the door but immediately eats dirt, tripping over a rock and injuring herself. Frustrated, she wonders why every single aspect of her life has to be set to ultra-hard mode. Desperate, a girl who has never experienced an ounce of love screams out into the street, desperately calling for the class rep. It is a universal truth that even the driest wood will burn bright red with just a tiny spark of warmth, much like a lost baby will blindly latch onto the first person it sees. Hearing the desperate shout, our girl turns around to find Gio limping toward her, completely missing a slipper. Gio fiercely commands our girl to stop, officially tossing the idea of friendship out the window. Instead, she demands one more favor, swearing on her life that she will repay the debt. After all, even a weak rabbit needs warmth to survive, but it first has to muster the courage to crawl out of its dark burrow. The scene shifts to the school, where the pink-haired girl is practically vibrating with anxiety. She worries aloud if their boss will actually manage to bring Gio back, fearing that revealing the vote scheme will only make the poor girl hate them more. The glasses guy quickly shuts down the panic, dropping the lore that our girl did not go after Gio just for a political vote. He remembers a previous conversation where our girl described Gio as skinny and sharp, like a stray who had never been cared for by anyone. At the time, the glasses guy had done his homework, discovering Gio was an orphan bouncing between shelters or unstable homes. Our girl had confidently promised to drag her to school using an old address. The glasses guy had fiercely insisted it was a mandatory rescue mission. He explained that as long as Gio was officially enrolled as a student, they could unlock school scholarships and government support to help her survive. The only way she could get that safety net was if she walked through those high school doors and became a part of their class. The scene shifts back to the classroom, where the morning bell has already rung and the teacher is deep into a lecture. The glasses guy is silently panicking in his seat. He mentally calculates that to secure the Juwon High Scholarship, Gio needs to hit a minimum number of attendance days. Staring at the empty desk, he utterly accepts defeat, assuming their grand rescue mission was a total failure. Suddenly, a voice echoes from the hallway, furiously demanding to know who is sprinting during class hours. Our girl comes sliding into view, panting heavily. She internally curses, mentally blaming her massive delay entirely on her new straggler. Her mind flashes back to just moments prior when she was literally dragging Gio by the hand. Gio had aggressively whined, begging to just start school tomorrow since she absolutely hates it and plans to sleep through the whole thing anyway. Snapping back to her sprint down the hallway, our girl internally roasts Gio for having a completely hollow brain. She genuinely cannot believe the girl is still lagging, especially since she used a secret martial arts technique on her that should have kept her physically energized for an entire week. Our girl turns around and barks down the corridor, demanding her sluggish companion stop standing around and hurry up. Trailing miserably behind her, Gio is wheezing for her life, silently complaining that the class rep moves at the speed of a sports car. She begs our girl to wait up, and finally, the two of them arrive at the classroom door. The glasses guy is so relieved he looks like he might burst into happy tears. Throwing on her best exhausted act, our girl apologizes to the teacher for being late, claiming she had to visit home and simply lost track of time. The teacher spots Gio standing there, recognizing her as the chronic truant who hasn't shown her face since the semester began. Putting two and two together, the teacher assumes our girl personally went out of her way to bring the missing student back. The teacher's heart melts a little at what a good kid the class rep is, but discipline is discipline. Her tone immediately drops into a harsh scold, and she orders both girls to stand in the hallway with their hands raised. Our girl whines that this is completely unfair and begs to at least be let inside to sit down. The plea falls on deaf ears. Soon, both our girl and Gio are stuck in the hallway with their arms raised to the ceiling, absolutely boiling with frustration. Inside the classroom, Sangha silently watches the punished duo through the window, her expression unreadable as she falls deep into thought. The timeline jumps forward to 8 days before the class rep election. The glasses guy observes that Gio, who fiercely swore she would only stay for first period, has miraculously been showing up every single day for a whole week. Sure, she still uses her desk as a permanent bed for most of the lectures, but thanks to our girl relentlessly pestering her, she actually participates from time to time. Down in the courtyard, physical education is underway, and the day's brutal sport of choice is team dodgeball. The glasses guy is minding his own business when Gio suddenly walks up and casually grabs his hand. The poor boy's brain instantly short-circuits. His face flushes a violent shade of crimson as Gio leans in, looking genuinely concerned. She notes that his face is so red it looks ready to detonate, sweetly suggesting he sit out in the classroom or hit up the nurse's office. Stuttering like a broken record, the glasses guy insists he is perfectly fine and blames the sudden heat wave. In his head, a choir of angels is singing because this is the very first time a girl has ever voluntarily held his hand. His romantic daydream is violently interrupted when Gio spots a high-speed projectile flying right at them. She violently yanks him to the side to dodge the ball, causing his glasses to fly completely off his face. Now they are standing dangerously close to each other. Before he can even process the proximity, a second ball comes hurtling their way. Running on pure panic and adrenaline, the glasses guy grabs Gio and practically pulls her into a full-body hug to dodge the attack. Completely over the chaos, Gio grabs him by the collar. She calls him a total jerk, angrily demanding to know why he keeps spacing out and asking if he is absolutely sure he does not have a fever. The glasses guy, now completely blind without his frames and drowning in embarrassment, just laughs incredibly awkwardly. Sometime later, our girl and her loyal trio of friends are hanging out, enjoying a snack. The pink-haired girl is looking at a small scrape on her hand when the group officially shares their warmth with Gio. Spotting the injury, Gio accurately guesses it is a dodgeball battle scar. She casually mentions that her little siblings get hurt all the time, so she always carries first aid supplies. Pulling out a tiny bandage covered in cute children's drawings, she gently sticks it onto the pink-haired girl's hand. The pink-haired girl practically melts, gushing over how adorable it is. With the ice completely broken, the group dives into a deep conversation. Gio spills the tragic backstory, explaining that she met Sandal and Daewol near her house after they ran away from an abusive orphanage. Knowing that calling the cops would just get them shipped right back to their abusers, she took them in instead. She lays out the entire current nightmare involving the loan shark taking them away. The glasses guy immediately shifts into detective mode. He suggests they track down the loan shark boss, locate the kids, and then storm the police station to report the kidnapping. Gio quickly vetoes the aggressive strategy. She argues that acting recklessly against a criminal could put the kids in even more danger. Instead, she insists they need to quietly find the children first and track their movements. Taking Gio's lead, the entire squad spends their afternoon scouring the streets, checking every possible location where Sandal and Daewol might be hiding. Our girl silently admits to herself that this is an incredibly tough mission considering she doesn't even know what these kids look like. The search is grueling. They stumble across terrifying newspaper headlines about rising child disappearances and abduction cases, which only sends their collective anxiety through the roof. The glasses guy walks beside Gio, gently asking if she is holding up okay. Looking completely drained of hope, Gio quietly asks for reassurance that they will actually find them. Suddenly, her eyes lock onto a distant spot. Her face lights up with sheer desperation as she points a finger and screams out, completely certain she just spotted Sandal and Daewol. Gio takes off running, with the glasses guy desperately calling out for her to wait so they can face the danger together. They track the missing siblings down to a local restaurant and peek through the window. Inside, Sandal and Daewol are inhaling food at Mach speed, looking like they have been starved for a solid decade. Chaeyeon, the absolute menace of a lackey, is sitting at their table, casually scrolling on her phone. Sandal pauses his aggressive chewing just long enough to ask if the bad guys are going to stop bothering their sister Gio now. Chaeyeon completely ignores him. Sandal pokes the bear again, prompting Chaeyeon to snap. She orders him to quit asking, shut his mouth, and eat, pointing out that she does not lie. Internally, she thinks these kids are obnoxiously annoying, but seeing them practically vibrating with joy over a hot meal softens her icy demeanor for a fraction of a second. She coldly informs them that a car will arrive shortly to pick them up, instructing them to just get in and do what they always do. The kids eagerly agree, with Sandal praising the food like it was cooked by a Michelin star chef. Outside the restaurant, Geo watches her siblings smiling through the glass. The glasses guy is utterly confused, asking why she is just standing there instead of storming the castle to get them back. Geo abruptly hits the brakes on the rescue mission, telling him they should just leave. She bitterly rationalizes that the kids are smiling and clearly happier without her, heavily convincing herself that living under her roof only brought them misery. Refusing to accept this tragic surrender, the glasses guy grabs her by the shoulders, shaking some sense into her. He demands to know if she is really going to live like this after they spent all day searching, begging her to let him help. The emotional moment is violently interrupted. Chaeyeon suddenly appears right beside them with a cheerful greeting, immediately delivering a swift kick to the glasses guy. Grabbing him by the shirt, she mocks him, asking why a massive nerd is not currently sweating over textbooks at cram school. She mentions hearing rumors that he has been hanging around our girl, sarcastically asking for a review of the noodles at her house. The glasses guy bravely demands she let him go, warning her about the impending consequences. Chaeyeon just laughs right in his face. Internally, the glasses guy realizes that with Kim Chaeyeon involved, he absolutely cannot walk away, knowing full well she is a horrible person. Chaeyeon finally notices Geo standing there and happily announces that the zombie decided to tag along. Bursting into laughter, she connects the dots and asks if the two of them are secretly dating. The glasses guy turns bright red but grits his teeth in defiance. Geo completely shatters his ego, coldly stating they are not dating. We're just passing by and are leaving immediately. Chaeyeon happily rubs salt in the wound, noting it is too bad he just got rejected on top of getting assaulted. Pushed past his breaking point, the glasses guy screams at Chaeyeon, demanding she return the kids, and begs Geo to come back. Chaeyeon tackles him to the pavement, mercilessly beating him. She mocks his attempt to play the cool knight in shining armor, asking if hanging with our girl magically gave him the stats to fight back. She invites him to try hitting her with all he has, confidently stating she will not be the one getting hurt, before driving her foot squarely into his stomach. He rolls across the pavement, landing right next to Geo. Trembling on the ground, he looks up at her and asks if they are family or not. Dragging himself to his feet, he tells Geo to watch closely because he refuses to give up like she did. With a battle cry, he charges at Chaeyeon. She effortlessly sidesteps the attack, laughing at the sheer audacity. She punches him deep in the gut, calling him a four-eyed loser who does not know his place, and follows it up with a brutal kick straight to the face. Watching the one-sided carnage, Geo starts trembling uncontrollably. She drops to her knees, paralyzed by fear, whispering to herself that this nightmare is happening all over again because of her. Back to the beatdown, Chaeyeon asks the battered glasses guy if he plans to run home crying to his mommy, suggesting he just blame his injuries on a rabid dog. Gritting his teeth through the pain, the glasses guy glares up at her and asks if she has even a single shred of human sympathy. Chaeyeon freezes. The line sounds incredibly familiar. Her brain flashes back to Geo crying those exact same words earlier in the day. She bursts into absolute maniacal laughter, declaring that the two weaklings really are a match made in heaven. She asks if he remembers the physical answer she gave to that specific question. The glasses guy stays silent. Chaeyeon leans in close, repeating her villainous catchphrase, asking if he will finally get it if she does this. She immediately wraps her hands around his throat, fully intending to strangle him. She correctly deduces that a coward like him would not orchestrate this rescue mission alone. She orders him to tell our girl to show up in person if she wants the kids, rather than sending a pathetic loser in her place. She pulls her fist back for another strike, but unexpectedly, the glasses guy shoots her a massive, confident grin. Chaeyeon is visibly confused, completely unaware that Geo has quietly snuck up behind her. She is trembling violently while holding a massive rock, fully prepared to commit a felony for her friends. Chaeyeon catches the movement, turns around, and rolls her eyes at the ridiculous pair, stating that a shaking girl with a rock is not nearly enough to stop her. But before she can finish her smug thought, a shadow falls over them. Our girl drops into the scene like an absolute demon descending from the heavens, her fist fully primed to strike Chaeyeon directly in the face. Our girl's fist connects beautifully with Chaeyeon's face, sending the lackey aggressively kissing the pavement. Nearby, the pink-haired girl is frantically hovering over Sandal and Daewol, doing a full-body scan to ensure the kids haven't suffered any injuries. Peeling herself off the dirt, Chaeyeon brushes off the assault, loudly complaining about the terrible customer service and wondering who delivers a greeting like that. Our girl casually observes that the lackey is clearly still out of her mind. Tapping into her past life, our girl drops a quick history lesson, noting that back in her day, there were also beasts who lived solely to stir up trouble. She politely asks if Chaeyeon is curious about how those specific stories usually ended. Instead of taking the obvious threat seriously, Chaeyeon lunges. She grabs our girl by the wrist, attempting a massive takedown while screaming that she couldn't care less about historical zombies. She firmly announces her life philosophy, stating she will do absolutely whatever it takes to climb to the top of the food chain. She pulls back a fist, confidently claiming this brutal mindset is simply how she survives. Our girl catches the incoming punch midair with zero effort, looking at Chaeyeon like she is a mildly annoying mosquito. She ruthlessly points out that for someone with such grand ambitions, Chaeyeon is hopelessly weak. To emphasize the point, our girl delivers a devastating uppercut straight to Chaeyeon's chin, sending her flying again while reminding her she is still a total nobody. Standing over the crumpled lackey, our girl officially decrees that absolutely no one is taking the kids today. She offers Chaeyeon a very simple multiple-choice question. She can either run away immediately or die right here on the spot. Instead of choosing self-preservation, Chaeyeon lies on the ground and starts laughing like a certified creep. She dismisses the heroic ultimatum as pure garbage and challenges our girl to just ask the kids who they actually want to follow. Right on cue, the two children violently rip themselves away from the pink-haired girl's comforting grip. Sandal loudly declares he is not going anywhere, insisting he refuses to live with that cowardly sister Geo ever again. Geo, who just arrived in time to hear this absolute betrayal, freezes dead in her tracks. Her soul practically leaves her body. While Chaeyeon cackles from the dirt, Geo's heart completely shatters. She turns and sprints away in tears, ignoring our girl calling out to her. To make matters infinitely worse, the little brat Sandal marches right up and stands squarely in front of our girl, acting as a tiny human meat shield to stop her from dealing out any more justice to the lone shark lackey. Just then, the cavalry arrives. A whole squad of shady hooligans swarms the area, officially stepping in to collect the children. Chaeyeon flashes a bloody, victorious grin. Feeling heavily protected, she throws our girl's exact ultimatum right back in her face, asking if the class rep plans to run away or die right there. The scene violently shifts to a ridiculously expensive mansion. Sangha marches up to her terrifying grandpa, confronting him about his interference in the recent class representative election. She demands to know why he meddled, aggressively whining that she earned top marks on her finals completely fair and square. She lists off her grueling sacrifices, claiming she cut back on sleep and meals, studied like an absolute maniac, and even forced herself to suck up to annoying peasants just to secure the win. She insists this was her personal achievement, and his meddling feels entirely unfair. Grandpa, looking as serious as a heart attack, completely shuts down the pity party. He sternly advises Sangha that there is absolutely no need to lie to him about playing fair and square. Sangha's eyes well up with tears as she scrambles to defend her pristine villain record. She admits that the original class rep conveniently failed to show up for the exam, but swears it wasn't directly her fault. Sure, she personally threatened the girl the day before, and yes, she orchestrated a brutal beatdown on the girl's mother, but she honestly didn't expect the girl to skip the test just to take her mom to the hospital. Sangha cries crocodile tears, insisting that despite the hospitalization, she still earned the seat legally. Grandpa is entirely immune to the waterworks. He calmly states that he knows absolutely everything and is deeply disappointed in her. Dropping the innocent act, Sangha's expression instantly morphs into something deeply unsettling. She creeps closer, asking why he refuses to believe her. Grandpa casually glances down at his wrist and asks if he ever told her the true origin of his watch. He notes it is her favorite limited edition piece that he supposedly inherited 50 years ago. Then, he bursts into loud, booming laughter, completely shattering the wholesome illusion. He flat out admits he stole the damn thing. He happily recounts growing up with absolutely nothing. Back in the day, he saw his wealthy boss flaunting the shiny watch, bragging that his father brought it from abroad. Grandpa took one look at the expensive jewelry and made the executive decision right then and there to steal it. Staring Sangha down, Grandpa admits that even now, he still looks at her and sees the fragile little 3-year-old who first stepped into his mansion. He drops some incredibly toxic family wisdom, instructing her that she must be strong, and more importantly, she never needs to be fair to others. Her only obligation is to be fair to herself. He orders her to never look back on her actions with regret, and if she wants something, she needs to take it by any means necessary. Meanwhile, our boy is secretly listening in on this masterclass in corruption. His anxiety spikes to maximum levels. He pulls out his phone and frantically dials our girl, mentally begging her to pick up before things go completely sideways. Unfortunately, our girl's phone is currently ringing out into the void. She is completely ignoring the call because she is currently surrounded by a fresh wall of angry hooligans, fully cracking her knuckles and preparing to send every single one of them to the emergency room. And that's the end for today's recap. If you had fun, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Your support keeps the recaps coming. Choose your next binge. At the top is a crowd pleaser, and the bottom is the latest chaos drop. Thanks for watching. Stay comfy, keep your popcorn ready, and I'll see you in the next one.